This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
And nobody knows we're doing this.
Nobody looks at Twitter.
Yeah, I did it the last couple weeks. All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to the show.
You know you can schedule tweets, right?
You could tweet it now,
But
too.
yeah, that's true. But then
I'll do
I have to.
I'll do it while you're
Ricks
talking.
will get it. Look at that.
Ricks will do it.
That's
He's
the new
guy.
motto of the show. Just get the guest to take care of all the heavy
care of our
lifting.
promotion for us.
Hey, you want to come on the show? What can you do for me?
Here's what you got to do.
You got to do our grunt work.
All right. Welcome to the show. We got me, we got Dom, we got Manic, we got Akron joining us. How's it going, man? And then we got Ricks Javix also here tonight. How's it going? Sorry to interrupt your tweeting. Get back to work.
Hey, man, get off Twitter. You're on our show now.
That's right. Doing great. Glad to be
I just realized I'm wearing one of Ricks's shirts. I'm wearing the Fan Fest.
Yeah, well, because you designed the logo for this show. You designed several of our Eve Vegas shirts. The Megathron or whatever.
Right, make America great.
The Megathron.
Make Eve great again. It was the Omegathron because that was when they came out with the Omega and Alpha
that's
status.
Right. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it was good. I might have we'll have to talk. I'll have to talk with the rest of the dudes from the show and see. I have an idea to commission you for, possibly for Vegas. So it'll be some time, but we were coming up with this funny idea of thick water.
Nice.
It was a joke with like heavy water and stuff, and so we're just gonna call it thick water, and so we might with two C's, the thick and
right. I'm doing something for with Hyper Viper right now and T Amber. I can't really talk about because it's kind of a secret project, but
you just did talk about it.
Could be very exciting. Yeah, actually, it's a custom Eve Vegas skin for in game. Fingers crossed.
Nice.
Will that work? I see. Oh, yeah. Like I see. Like will
like for
CCP
for a spaceship?
Yeah. No, I was like, yeah, but CCP would have to do that, and then it's like, wait, but they do that sometimes for the events. They'll make skins for that. That's cool.
Yep.
There's a skin for either the Ishtar or the VNI that has like tapestries of like holographic something hanging off of them. Is anybody familiar with that?
Oh yeah, it's like the golden black.
Right.
Yeah, it's real.
Oh,
sexy
that was the Yoil skin for a couple of years ago.
Oh no,
Yoil.
those are the ones with the Yuri skins.
They gave them out at the Christmas event.
Yeah.
It's like gold and black diamond shapes and holographic tapestries
and
hanging off
like
the side of the ship.
Off of it. If you're gonna do something for Vegas, I say go real extravagant.
Like that would be really cool. Yeah.
It's the UI Festival.
I think some
YC 121.
Some like slot machine lights and stuff going on.
No, I'm thinking like full neon, like hologram around the ship. Pink and blue neon lights,
like
a lot of running,
like cyberpunk,
some holographic dice,
like the animated lights, like on the Hex skins, how the light runs across the ship, like some of that shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah!
What would be great would be an exotic dancer dancing on top of the ship.
Yes,
a hologram,
a little hologram,
like the old Galente station.
Right.
Yeah,
just
they had
the old station. Yeah.
Speaking of dancers. Way to segue into our first shot.
What is this segue?
We're gonna segue into I only know this because it was brought up to me. Rain brought it up in the channel. There's apparently a national something day every single day of the year. Apparently today is National Vagina Appreciation Day. I thought it was a joke. I went and Googled it. It's fucking real. It actually is today. So I guess we got to do shots.
Shots to all the
pour an
pussies
actual
out
shot, or
there.
can I just drink what I'm drinking?
Oh, you can just drink whatever.
I'm addicted to Coke, so that's...
Okay.
We're not going to judge what you're drinking as long as you got something.
It's an old advertising joke.
Yeah,
Oh,
no, it's-
okay.
This shot brought to you by Manscaped in appreciation of National Vagina Day.
Yeah, it's to appreciate the vaginas, you gotta appreciate yourself too.
Right.
Get a trim. I don't know.
Self,
And
that's why I don't write
self-love
the
is
scripts.
important.
Is what I'm saying. It's not just for the guys.
Right. It's
Anybody
it's
can
for
trim their
everyone.
goods.
Anybody can shave their pubic hair.
A
And I
trimmer's
hear
a
the
trimmer,
scents are great.
except the Manscaped trimmers.
Gotta get the lawnmower or whatever that thing's called.
But yeah, so there's actually
Yep, go ahead. That
Oh,
just
I was just saying,
proves
there's
that
a
if
bit of
we're in
a-
a time of war, you shouldn't tell me any secrets because that's how easily Wade to give up the Vegas secret. So
yeah. I was saying, like, I'm not supposed to tell you what's going on, but let me tell you this this project I got going.
a lot of peer pressure here. I just had
Yeah.
I had to spill the beans. So
No, that's cool. I'm excited for it because I'm going to Vegas now. So if that happens, I'll
Nice.
get one. I'll use it. I'll fly whatever ship it is, even if I don't normally fly that ship. People will be like, "All right, bring your Munins," and I'll be like, "I'm bringing this. This is cool." Yeah.
You
so
know I'll get it 'cause I'm fucking addicted to skins. So.
yeah, I like them. I don't
They don't
have
eat 'em
that
or
many, but
anything,
that's
just-
because we generally don't fly that many different ships, and even if the doctrines change, the Logi ships don't usually change much. It's like, okay, are you flying it's like you got a Basilisk, Scimitar, those are like the most common ones. I mean, I haven't flown a Guardian in fucking forever because armor ships just aren't as popular.
But the skins are for you. They're
Or Neros, I don't
they're
think is
they're really just for you.
Yeah.
Nobody is zooming in on your ship. You get a skin for yourself.
I don't know if that's true.
Right, 'cause
I've
I-
had
yeah,
people
everyone's like,
comment to
who
me
plays
about my
zoomed in? I was
skins
like,
on my
I
ship.
play
I mean,
zoomed
if somebody is wearing like a special or unique or a really cool looking skin, somebody will zoom on your ship. But in the middle of a battle, like nobody cares. Everybody's zoomed out anyway. But
Yeah.
you know
I'm
that you've
zoomed
got
in.
that awesome
That's
skin.
that's the great thing about flying in anchor fleets, because I don't have to fly my ship. I just have to be able to target the broadcast window and push whatever buttons I need to, and that's it. So I can fly zoomed in and not have to really care about where I'm going. So I like-
Admittedly, I'm usually on potato, and so I only feel like skins are worth it on like capitals and bigger.
yeah.
Otherwise, you don't really see it much.
I usually don't go into potato because even in the bigger fights, like, yeah, my frame rate might go down a little bit, but I've never had a crash in like higher res. Now, if it's like the big, thousands of people fights, I'll turn it down. But if we're going to a fight where it's like there's gonna be like half a thousand people there, and they're like, oh, everyone going to potato mode, it's like, no, I don't
generally
fly
got
like that.
multiple characters running, and it just to help.
Yeah, not first rain, but I gotta break a bubble. Yeah. So quick news. There's an Industrialist Shape E video. I'm gonna post that in the chat if you guys want to watch it. You can whenever. It's I mean, it's not some mind-bogglingly. It's not some big release of anything coming out, but it's a cool video. It's a rare video that when you watch it, you actually kind of get hyped for industry. That doesn't usually happen.
I didn't think it was possible for them to make industry look interesting.
they did.
People will just complain about it.
Yeah.
No,
well,
it's a good trailer.
I
It
agree.
is.
but People,
Especially the breakout of the ship with all
Industrialist
the
right now
With
is
all the
everything around it. That was
modules,
pretty
Yeah.
badass.
even like the breakout of the industry window. Like visually, it looked really cool. I guess
it was
like
really well animated
from a
with the-
UI design standpoint, it's a very very well animated video.
Yeah, with the whoever was narrating, and that was something I don't know who was narrating that, but whoever it was, like as they were talking, like it was kind of cool. They're like, we got to figure out what ship and then what modules and ammo and like as they're talking, the ship fit is like breaking down into like more and more parts. It's just some really really well done.
It's a really cool concept.
I saw in the comments on like Reddit that they were like, they never said who it was, and some people were like, maybe
and
they would
that
be
stuck
targeted.
out to me. Yeah, so like,
who knows if it's real? But
what I
it was
noticed is,
passionate.
because whenever CCP, they don't always do it, but they're usually pretty good at like annotating who is speaking, or if they feature
This Is
somebody
Eve
in the
show.
game. Yeah. So, but yeah, like you were saying, Akaroth, if they suddenly got like, if they were featured in this video, and yeah, maybe they would suddenly get targeted if everybody knew who they were, or like they'd get a sudden like rush of orders that they couldn't fulfill. Like yeah,
Right.
I get it.
I mean that's about it for the video. It was just a fun watch. When I first saw the Industrial Shape Eve, I was thinking that it was a video that was going to be announcing some kind of new. Now I know that there was the industry changes that happened a while ago, but this video didn't really seem to have anything to do with that. It was just more on just the importance of industry in the game overall. So,
Well, it wasn't really
Here's a
while ago.
role
Was it
you
just
can
recently?
play it's like, actually, now that I think about it, this is like a trailer that's not combat focused really at all. You
No.
know, every other Eve trailer you see like ships blowing up by the thousands and statistics about such and such battle, but this is just like, this is a thing you can do. You can play your way, and you can set up shop and be your own business.
Did they mention in it at any point about the non-consensual PvP side of things, though? Because you will draw that attention eventually.
Yeah, they did not mention that.
They should, if they're being honest.
I think at this point, well, I don't know. I think most people who've been around for a while and been gaming for a while, like, you've at least heard of Eve. Even if you've never played it, you've probably heard of it, and you probably know that it's kind of a cutthroat PvP game. So if you go into Eve not understanding that, you're gonna have a bad time.
right. Well, I mean, all
That's
my
fair, yeah,
all my
okay.
friends, the ones that I talk to, like not the friends that I talk to. I mean, like the ones I've talked to about Eve.
You know,
They
you
know
don't
a
have
little
friends
bit
that you
more.
talk to.
Yeah, my
It's a
friends, but
short
the
list.
ones I actually talk to, no, it's. But even
Imaginary.
before I started talking to them a bit about Eve, they would kind of they had I think the mentality that a lot of people get with Eve, like, oh, Eve, is that one with the big space battles? Like that's all they know about it, really. That's their mental image. And then I start going into the like, the scene from Always Sunny in Philadelphia where the guy's like got the whole like paper up and all the threaded lines. Everybody's
All the
like all
lines
going crazy.
connecting
It's
all
like
of the-
that's me basically start talking about Eve because I'm trying to talk about too much all at once.
Great analogy.
Yeah, and it's like they're just like, like, dude, I'm not picking up any of this. So, I mean, that's the thing when you're trying to explain what Eve is. There is no good starting point, really. It's kind of hard to. You have to section it off and talk about individual things.
I remember a couple of times at work, I had Eve came up in conversation because people knew that I played, and it was kind of like when I went to Iceland for the first time for FanFest, it was kind of like the talking point around the office. So people knew I was this big nerd that played this game, but they didn't really know anything about it. And when I tried to explain it to them, their eyes would just glaze over, and they'd be like, "Oh, that sounds cool."
Yeah, their attention span just shuts off.
And I'm like,
Taki is-
okay, we'll never speak of this again.
Taki and Station's just raided. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the show.
Hi,
We're,
everybody.
Hey, guys.
Hey,
Getting some early stuff off before we get into a lot of the meat and potatoes. We got CSM.
Happy
coming
National
up and stuff,
Vagina
we'll be
Day.
getting Happy National Vagina Day.
Oh,
It's
is
a
it really?
thing. It's real. Or Vagina
celebrating.
Appreciation Day. That's what it is.
I
It's about
appreciate all of them,
time,
too.
really.
it's about time. Yeah.
Yep.
I appreciate the shit out of them every
What
once
else
in
we
a while.
got? A small little bit of news. 12 months of Omega. I was thinking this was just like a sale. No, this is like you can buy 12 months with Plex. You go to NES and you can buy it with Plex. 11 months worth of Plex gets you 12 months worth of game time. They're running a sale, so there you go. That's a quick one.
So
There
like
isn't
you're
really
talking
anything
about
else to say about that. The probably one of the bigger one, not bigger ones, but important ones, I would say, is because of the Project Discovery, with the whole COVID, all the things we've been doing the last basically year involving COVID, has been nominated for a Webby Award, so EVE Online for that. So I'm going to give you guys a link, and this is just the actual link to vote if you want.
Can anybody here explain to us what the Webby Awards are?
Yeah. Does anyone does any of us have
Does
a
anybody
Webby
have
award?
some
I mean,
insight?
does-
Well, according to the New York Times, they're very prestigious awards.
They are. Yeah, I have one.
They
here.
give them
No,
they give them to
we just-
really important people. Oh, Rick's has
Rick's
one.
It's
just
very-
happens
it's
to
very
have
heavy.
a Webby award right there.
It has a spring on it, which I've never understood, but
So if Rick's can get one, it must be pretty
it
easy.
must be anybody can get one. Yes, I paid $15,000 for this.
But you
Like,
had to.
is,
Plex.
is
That
that a
like
joke?
I was like, you had to pay for
Oh,
your
okay.
award.
No,
I was like, is
didn't
that like a
pay
Walk
for
of
it.
Fame
Like,
star?
they make you buy it?
Yeah, you
Those-
walk up to the
those are
podium,
called
like,
Telly
thanks
awards.
everybody. You look, you see like a price tag hanging off of it. You're like,
You walk off the stage and hand somebody a check.
Hey, Wendell.
No, those are called Telly Awards.
yeah.
I have 47 of those. They're very, very heavy. No, it's called the International Webby Awards. It's been around since before 2009, at least, because this is what this one is. I actually have two of
I
these.
think this
and,
is the 16th, I believe, if I read it right.
the
16th
16th.
one?
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So it's older than most of the people watching the show right now.
Badly, yeah.
Pretty much.
So it
How
came up
old?
because of the internet, So it's an internet-based award for interactivity, for viral videos, for interactive presentations, interactive experiences, VR, anything to do with digital media. Basically, it's a digital media award. It's global, so you submit, and that there is a fee associated with the submission. So you have to kind of be careful about what you're submitting. You can't just send in anything you want because there's a fee associated with it. And then there's a panel of judges. I don't know how many. A number of judges from around the world, from media companies, from other, and then the finalists are voted on by the public, which is kind of a cool thing. So that's where we are right now with CCP's Project Discovery. I went on there earlier today and went through the whole thing and voted for the different categories. So there's like 5 finalists in each category.
Mhm.
And you can go and see the website or do the experience yourself if you really want to, or you can just vote. But yeah, so right now, Project Discovery is well in first place.
Yeah, I just did it a
lot.
little bit before the show, and Eve was first place at 45% of the votes.
Right.
And second place, I think, had like 16 or something,
Right.
or 15. So
it's actually gone up. When I voted,
it
it
is
was 44%.
solidly in first
so that's
place.
good.
So of course, Eve players figured out a way to game it and make it up
Probably.
Right, yeah.
bots.
There's
Probably
like,
a lot of
all it
bots
takes is
wrote
an
a bot
email,
to
huh?
vote.
Like, well, I
a
got
lot
like
of
10 of
Russian
these.
bots. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
By the way, it's the 25th annual Webby Awards, and
Oh, is it?
goddamn, we're
God.
getting old.
I'm getting old. Look at all this gray. What the
Oh,
hell?
25th, yeah. It
Yeah,
says it
so-
right there. But yeah, so
Anyway.
their category that they're being nominated for is Best Public Service, Activism, and Social Impact Game, which
Yeah,
definitely is.
well deserved, by
yeah.
the way. I think. It's
And this
pretty
is specifically for Project Discovery.
It's
Yes.
it's Eve
Okay.
Online's incorporation of Project Discovery for that, and which is pretty cool. I mean, honestly, the Project Discovery, ever since they brought that in, it's just been a really cool. Because what was it? They had the Planet Hunter thing the last time, and what was the first one?
Protein folding.
Protein folding, right.
Yeah, so it was other biosciences, but it wasn't for like any kind of
And
vaccine or anything. It was just more for just
It was some
Yeah.
study.
but
It was
they,
like
but they
mitochondria
worked it
proteins
into
or
the
something?
lore, didn't they? They worked it into the lore somehow. It had
They
something
did,
to
yeah.
do with drifters, I think.
I think so. That's when we had that outbreak at FanFest, right? They had the
Yeah,
room we had to go
the
in.
Kiyonoke plague. Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
but the planet hunting one, this like solidified me how cool Project Discovery is. Well, the concept of citizen science itself, like crowd-funded, or not crowd-funded, but crowd-based research almost,
Right.
where you get thousands, maybe even millions of people doing this pretty tedious work that probably could be automated in some way, but it would actually be more accurate to have people do it, and you gamify it, and so it encourages people to do it. But with the planet hunting one, I think it was a comment made by CCP Falcon, maybe, because that was during his time. Was like the Eve player base exhausted the amount of samples that this company had given to CCP for analysis. Like, we had exhausted the number of samples in the first 3 or 4 months when this company expected that we wouldn't be done with these samples for about a year. So
Okay.
like everybody was jumping on this, and we made huge progress for this company in their research. It was very cool.
And I'm trying to think of where the data came from, because I want to say, I don't know if it was the Chandra telescope, because I think that's X-ray. These were infrared sources, I believe. But I can't remember. It was something. But one of the telescopes out there, this is like just a bunch of data, and it was basically just looking at luminosity fluctuations in certain star systems. And what I also saw was it wasn't just because of the Eve player base, but a lot of the submissions that were put in, and a lot of, because essentially what we did as a player base was help them weed out and get just a mass consensus, because you have like, tens of thousands of people all putting in input on the same bits of data, and so they can kind of get a better consensus on things like that, and it helps them weed stuff out faster and easier. And they have computers run through it too, and so it's not like we were the only ones doing that. But they actually ended up, through all that stuff that did include the work that we did, they actually ended up finding an exoplanet. So you could kind of think that like the Eve player base did help find another planet. That's cool. I was
And they're
going to
name it after Manface Misseltits,
Yeah, I
who submitted
hope
the
so.
final analysis that identified this planet.
Yeah, the planet should just be Manface in the Misseltit system. That's
Mr. Manface McMisseltits.
Yeah, that's
Was that player around when the statue was put up? 'Cause these are the kind of things that need to stay in history.
Give them
Andrew's
a,
book,
give
see.
Manface Misseltits a landmark in the game with their creepy portrait avatar.
yeah. So if you haven't voted for the Webby Award, go do it. It's quick. It's easy. It doesn't take
Feel
a long
free to
sign-up
brigade
process.
Eve.
Super easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you put in
tell your friends, make your family do it.
you put in an email and you make a password for it, and then you vote. Just click. So it's pretty easy. The only thing I disliked is they forced you to put a special character in your password. I hate ones that do that. But
Everybody just does exclamation point.
I just use the gibberish that Google gave
how
me.
did you know? Oh my god!
Everybody
How did
uses
you-
the exclamation point, Drayden.
I always use the exclamation point. I just slap it at the end. Fucking hacker over here.
I'm an elite hacker
Oh shit.
because I know that Drayden used one of the most common special characters in his
It's like you get to
password.
the end, it's like, oh, I need a special
Yeah, I just
character.
logged into
Boom,
Drayden's
that
Steam
one.
account.
It was so easy.
Damn.
Transferring his assets to mine.
I need to go change
All I can
all
think
my
is Spaceballs.
passwords everywhere now.
I feel attacked.
Pretty much. But that, a few other small things. We'll get to the starter pack in a bit, because I know Manic's gonna have a little bit of a rant on that, I think.
Oh, bless you, Drayden. Bless you.
Yeah. Darwin, thanks for the resub, man. Welcome back. Convict.
Right as we get into
Convicts.
right
He's
as
talking
we
about
get
Man-Face
into
McMissile Tits or whatever. Yeah, he does. It's even CCP confirmed he has one of the best avatars, so. Large collidable object. There's some good ones. I've always stood by the.
I haven't seen large collidable objects.
There's
I'll
a
look 'em up
guy
now.
whose name is Diarrhea Face, and if you look up his avatar, it's pretty great. It looks exactly how it sounds. I don't know if he's played in a long time, but Bissell Proving Grounds coming up. Actually, it started today. It's going until Tuesday. 2v2 faction frigates. So if you're into the Proving Grounds, that's up and going again. But yeah, let's get into the starter pack, Manic. Now that CCP is here.
Now,
What timing?
listen. It's fine. We don't have to talk about it.
Now he's backing down.
Because I feel like I say the same thing every time this comes up. And listen, I God damn it. No, we don't have to talk about this.
You don't like the starter packs?
It's
There's
okay.
nothing.
Fast.
There's
What's your
nothing
hot
to
take?
talk about.
It's okay
There's
if
nothing
you
to
don't
talk
like
about.
they sell skill points. You're not the only person that
The,
sells.
I
the
love that.
starter the
If
starter
that's-
packs are going away, so they're on sale right now. So if you got money to burn, go. Why not? Why not?
Why-
Give
why are they-
CCP
they're going
more
away?
money. But so in the article that they brought out, they said new packs are on the way. So Convict, I know
So
you're
don't
watching.
feed
I
Yeah,
got
yeah,
my
he's watching. He's like,
I-
you'll provoke him to make another video. They watched your
got
video.
my eye. I know they watched my video because I looked at the analytics and a few people from Iceland are on there, so I know they saw it.
Wow, look at him stalk you guys.
But yeah,
Creeper.
you
I
get
didn't know
it
you
get
could
it
look at
right
where
this
people
time,
are watching your
Convict.
shit
Get it
from.
right this time. Otherwise, no, it's fine. It's fine. Companies got to make money. Companies got to make money.
Keep
It's
the
fine.
lights on.
It's got to
Got to keep the
I-
lights on. It's fine. It's all good.
I have my own axe to grind
good.
with various aspect of like injectors and things, and then how it snowballed into the Rorqual changes and a bunch of other things game wise, which we're now trying to bounce back from. But at this point, I've read through it so many times of different people's discussions, and honestly, there's a lot of newer players that are like, "Look, man, like, I wanted to start so many times, and it's just like, the people who've been playing forever, they're on top, and it's like, well, that's always kind of going to be the case." But I get that mentality that people want to, they got a good day job and they want to swipe their way right to the top.
The problem. I didn't want to get into this. Damn you, Drayden.
preach
the
it,
pro-
Manning.
I'm sorry.
The problem
You-
that I have, and it's my problem, it's not CCP's problem. I'm saying that now. The problem that I have is it appears to me that in some ways CCP is walking the line of sacrificing Eve's artistic integrity in order to make a little extra money. And that's my perception. I'm not saying that's what's going on, but it worries me because I give a shit.
I get both sides of the coin when it comes to selling the skill points. Like, I get that side because
And
that
I
skill
accept
points
that they got to make money.
I mean, skill points for the longest time in Eve, they were like, that was kind of the staple of an economy of you can't, other than like back in the day with the character bazaar, it's like you can't sell them. You can't. The only way to get skill points is to
It was
subscribe
still
an
really
account
well
and just
bottlenecked.
subscribe an account and wait. Like, yeah, you could put in, implants and things like that. Or I didn't play back in the day when there was training skills, but those were back there. So it's like there were things that you could help speed it up a little bit or fine tune it. There's the attributes were another one. You could fine tune training time with attributes, but it was you could only get it down so far. And it's like you just had to wait. You have a skill that's going to take 20 days to train. You got to wait 20 days. Doesn't matter how much or how little you play. It's going to take that much time. And that was always skill points were this foundation
that's
of like
honestly
a
one of the
value in the
things.
game.
That's one of the things that really drew me to Eve, because in every other MMOs at the time, this is like back in the day when I started playing around 2009, when MMOs were getting huge and the market was super oversaturated. These were very social games, but if you wanted to keep up with your friends, you had to play as often as they did. And if you had to miss a few days, then you had to make up that time by grinding your ass off while your friends were off having fun. And I didn't like that. But with Eve, it didn't matter how often you played or not. Everybody more or less progressed at the same rate. And
Great equalizer.
right, it was very cool. It was very cool to me. It's like that concept was awesome. I loved it. And it seemed like Eve was not the first, but it was definitely one of the few MMOs that offered really intrinsic value as a reward. And I don't want to get into a whole discussion about what intrinsic and extrinsic value means. Look it up. It's not a difficult concept to understand. But basically, as you play Eve, you become better as a player. Like the game isn't necessarily rewarding you with awesome trinkets. You're becoming a better player the more you play Eve. Whereas other MMOs would shove, they would throw loot at you or whatever to make you feel like you accomplished something.
Well, and the thing I liked about it was that it didn't pressure you to play more than you wanted to or had time to, because it was, if you were busy with work or you had real life stuff going on, you wouldn't have to worry. It's like, I'm still training, I'm still getting there. Whereas a lot of other MMOs, it's like a lot of other MMOs are very focused on the more you grind, the faster you go. And that kind of does encourage a no life addiction style. I mean, I don't want to. don't want to get into like the addicted to gaming thing, but I'm just saying like it does kind of encourage that ignore the outside world, ignore real life, and just focus on grinding this game because you need to get your stuff up as fast as possible, which was nice. It was nice. The drawback and then Devil's Advocate, the drawback I see, and kind of the benefit of them selling skill points and then like the skill injectors. I was against skill injectors a lot. I still don't know if I really like them, but they've been in the game so long you can't get rid of them now. But the main issue I have with that is, or I mean, the benefit I guess with that is that it does help with people getting into the game or just trying to get into other stuff, because there is this whole when you get into the game, especially now that there's so many people that can do all this stuff, that when you get in the game, you're like, oh, okay, well, I want to fly this, or I want to do this, or my alliance, we're doing this doctrine, we need to be able to fly these. And they look and it's like, so you're telling me that, you know, if they didn't sell skill points or there were no injectors, like, so I have to basically, it doesn't matter what I do, I have to wait 4 months to be able to do what all my friends are doing. And so it kind of has this like really like discouraging aspect to it, to where it's like you just have to wait and you have to essentially pay for this game for, you know, 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever it is, before you could do anything. As opposed to, well, maybe you just farm up some ISK, buy some skill injectors and get it that way, or just you're like, fuck it, and just open your wallet, pay some money and be like, cool, now I got it. I don't know. So I see both sides of the coin. I don't know essentially where I would put myself, because like there's good points on both sides, I think.
I was just gonna say, in the early days when you had to like alarm clock and things to change your skills because there was
when
queues
your
and
queue,
things.
yeah, you had
So
24 hours worth of
you could
training time.
try to
yeah.
just be like,
In the
oh,
middle of your
ignore this game for
vacation.
20 days, but no, you're like, oh, I gotta wake up and like change a skill because 20 fucking days. Like, I'm not losing a day on that. Come on.
Exactly.
At least you don't lose skill points when you die anymore.
I fucking missed that.
Do
I
you?
do not miss that at
That was
all.
one of the things
I
that
think
made
that was an
pod kills
awesome
really
change.
exciting. You're like,
I
man, what if I
liked
just
it. I
fucked
thought that
this
was
guy
fantastic.
a week? I don't know.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. I lost skill points yesterday when I lost my Loki. I said,
Well,
retrain
okay.
that.
But like max, you lose like a couple days, or the 2 or 3
And that's
days.
the fun thing, is after you kill one, you mail them and say, which skill did you lose?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
That's a little remnant of old Eve. We're fine.
Yeah, DBRB loses FC5. Yeah, I think he lost that like 3 or 4 times. I lost skill points about 2 or 3 times, and the funny thing is all 3 of those were self-inflicted. Thinking I had upgraded my clone and I was death cloning somewhere and then spawned, and I was like, wait.
I lost Cruisers 5
Whoops.
once.
It's like as
and
soon as I would
and
blow
lost
up and I'd
Battleship 5
respawn, I'd
once.
go to upgrade my clone and I'd realize like, wait, did I not do this last time? I don't think I did this last time. And I'd go look at my skills like, yeah, fuck, I lost Battle Cruiser 5. God damn.
That was a good change.
I don't think so. I like
that was,
that.
that
I
was
like
one of
that
those
aspect
things
of it.
where it was more of a hassle than it was a benefit to the game.
It wasn't a
like,
benefit to the
was
game.
that's what I'm saying. Like, from a gameplay standpoint, it was something you had to babysit, right? Every time you died, it was just this thing that you had to remember to do, and if you didn't, you were hurting yourself in the future. So it
Made
yeah,
sense with the lore. I liked it. It should have stayed.
And
but
It
it,
made
but
sense
it
in the
didn't.
era.
It did not
Things were
serve to
tough.
make the game fun.
I
And
liked
yeah.
it.
Here's
You
my
know what?
thing.
Every time it happened to me, I laughed my ass off because I thought it was funny.
It didn't tell the people who did it to you what you lost or anything. That's the only reason that something like that should have ever been.
I can
or
fully
remained.
support that. Or it
Because
it
that's
posts
cold
somewhere,
and
yeah.
dark and terrible, and they're they get to enjoy in the fact that they
I could
possibly
totally
you
support
lost.
that. Yes.
Convict brings up a good point though, and again, yeah, this is a thing where he's like, skill injectors been the impact have been overblown. Essentially, he's saying that he can't. It's not like you get Titan pilots in 2 days or anything like that. And it's the diminishing returns on the skill injectors. I think was a really good idea because
I agree.
if
did well
someone's
with
like, hey, I need a new Sino pilot, well, now that you have to have the recons, it's a little bit more expensive to do that than it was back in the day. But I mean, you could get things like that, like, oh, I need like a travel scepter pilot for a scout, or like that is something you can just pop right in. It's not going to cost you that much, and you can get those. But if you're like, I need a capital pilot, if you're going to skill inject all the way up to a competent carrier or a super carrier pilot,
And people do.
you're going to
but
be
it's not-
spending like
It's a lot of money.
hundreds
Yeah.
of billions on skill injectors, if not more.
We
I
saw
think it
a
usually.
we
Sorry,
saw
go
an
ahead.
Erebus pilot who was 6 months old a couple weeks ago.
I think the combination of that
I
with
mean, it's
Rorqual
doable, but man,
mining,
it's
I don't.
It's not efficient and not cheap.
No.
Skill injectors plus something that was not crazy high skill point amount like Rorqual mining and how easily that scaled in conjunction was how it got shown to be such a dangerous thing, I think. In and of itself, not a terrible thing. And like you said, they put the caps on it at various levels that I think they did a pretty good job at, because that kind of does hit multiple levels of, do I want to really just Sino alts? Do I want, some little something? Do I want to, try to make a pretty competent alt? And then, you're going to start seeing a lot of diminishing returns, and it takes care of itself.
Convict just said the greatest thing about this whole issue that I've ever seen said. I've changed my mind on this issue because of what he just said. He's right. After 15 years, some kind of catch-up mechanic is not unreasonable. I agree. And I totally changed my tune on this whole thing.
Well, I was going to say I was totally against skill injectors and all this stuff until one day I realized, because we keep running into these, like I said, this Erebus pilot who was 6 months old, or this Hyperion pilot who's like a week old, and we were having this conversation in Fleet one day, and my entire attitude about it completely changed, because I stopped thinking about it as skills, as time, because we are in a almost 20-year-old game now. And I started thinking about it from a content perspective. And all of the players who come in, all the new players, the old players who are returning to the game, everybody who's doing something is providing content. They're all content. And whether they've got 15 million skill points or 85 million skill points or 250 million skill points, it doesn't matter. They're flying spaceships, they're doing work, they're providing content, they're either attacking you or being attacked, or they're moving cargo, or they're mining asteroids, and it's all great. It's good for EVE. 4 players in space doing work is good for everybody.
Absolutely. And here's the thing with it. Just because you can fly something doesn't mean you should.
No.
Now, if you're on the other side, I think you should. If you're on my side, I don't think you should.
No, I think after reading many, many threads over the last few years, because a lot of times it gets brought up with, the direction things are going, which was, like I said, mostly a combination, I think, of Rorqual mining and the scalability of Rorqual mining combined with injectors. But at the end of the day, the people who felt, I feel like, the most offended by it are the people who've been around forever, and they grinded it through it all, and spent their months and months and alarm clocked at times and things to change skills. But at the end of the day, in this era, 20 years later, people do want to join the game and do want to catch up, and even players who already play the game want to catch up alts and make utilities, and it's a net gain. I feel like most of the way around. I just feel like you need to watch some of the other game mechanics and how they interact with it, which I think they've kind of started to try to do with some of the Rorqual and industry changes.
I'm super positive about all this.
Trying to be optimistic.
Ben, workhorse tabs. I'd be okay if those went away.
Yeah,
I agree completely.
Who wouldn't?
Nothing is more discouraging.
The people that
you get a fucking tackle on somebody and they warp away anyway.
Yeah,
it's just fucking gut wrenching. I hate that.
Yeah,
I can't ever do it to somebody. They do it to me all the fucking time.
I'd say get rid of them, but leave them on the bonus hulls.
I agree. Yeah. Just get rid of the module.
What about limit 1 per ship? Make it like a damage control. You can only have 1. To where it's like you can get away from a long point, but not a scram. So if you have a scram, you're gonna
get in brawling range.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe that's a dumb.
I'd be okay with that. That actually would
make it like a damage control. You can put 1 on there, so like long points or something. But if someone comes up with a scram against you, you're fucked.
That actually would be a good way to do it.
Because that makes
people who really want them
like,
aren't
decent,
completely fucked over. People who don't want them can live with 1.
The thing is, the module itself, if it's going to live on in the future, which then it needs to change, because it's not changed in so long. It's a 20-year-old module. If the module is going to stay, then it needs to change, because basically using it gimps your ship to the point where it's impossible to PvP in it, even 1 module. So the point
but you shouldn't have it on a PvP ship.
Exactly. So we need a new module. We need to get rid of the old one, and we need a new one that provides the ability for people to move things, put them on transport ships where they need to be, and leave them off of PvP ships.
And I think increase the fitting cost of them.
Having only dipped into faction warfare areas, never like signing up for a faction, but just PvPing and go into the the plexes and whatnot to screw around. Stabs are an awful thing in this game, and I've enjoyed stabs plenty of times moving around in a DST, but I'm like, I'm in a semi truck, like just give me something. Come on, it makes sense on some ships. I don't think you should be able to make progress in a PvE site and also still just dip out anytime somebody comes.
I had a great PvP like mini war with somebody over stabs. I was in a bustard and he was in a tackle ship, and I didn't have any stabs on it. He got me, right? So I put a stab on it. I got away the next time. He went from 1 scram to 2 scrams. He got me because I put like 3 stabs on the thing. I got away the next time. Then he put 2 fucking scrams on his ship. He got me the next time.
And that's beautiful.
That was a fucking blast.
Evolution
right? All over those
practice.
stupid modules. We ended up being allies later. He made fun of me a lot.
But yeah, ships that have it built in, like ECM bonus or nullification bonus, or a web stab bonus, like a Venture, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah, or don't the blockade runners have a base warp strength of 2?
Yeah,
2,
like impels.
2 or
too.
3.
Yeah.
2? Yeah.
I think it's 2.
Deep space transports, yeah.
Yeah, because I ended up
Blockade
with
runners have
four
that built-in
stabs.
cloak if you do it right, and then you hope to not need one.
Right.
I ended up with 4 stabs, and I still got caught by that fucker.
So the trick, there's never mind. Don't worry about it.
I remember first
Fit
time
all
I
the
tried to
stats.
use warp core stabs. I was it was before interceptors were nullification invulnerable. Oh, Convict, thanks for the sub, man. The 4 months. I was new to the game, and I thought warp core stabs, like, oh, you're immune to like warp scrambling things, and so I thought that included bubbles, and I was like I said, it was before the interceptors were interdiction nullified, so I was like just zooming, not even paying attention to D-scan, just warping gate to gate to gate, and I hit a bubble camp, and I just I was so confused and upset. And I was, I mean, I just lost. It was only an interceptor I lost, but I was like, what the fuck? Fucking thing sucks.
To turn this module on? How the fuck do I do it? God damn.
Yeah, I was really confused. Then people said I was dumb, and they told me what I did. But
that wasn't the reason you're dumb.
Well, no, they were 2 separate statements. So
that wasn't nice. I'm sorry.
I wanted to be about the change of making NTs so just friggin' good for being, travel scepters and taxis. But it's so enjoyable to have that in the game that I was like, this is just good for almost everyone. Shuttles are not great.
No.
yeah.
I like them. They're fun.
So I was gonna move on to the now that we have a Mac expert with us.
Oh shit!
Somebody who can actually speak to this.
We talked a little bit about the Mac native client that they're working on, and they were doing some playtesting with. And we were sitting there. I was okay, bro. I thought Manic was a Mac user, an avid Mac user, because he does like Photoshop. I mean, he's got to know how to use a Mac. So, so we get into the show, and I'm like, all right, so we're talking about the Mac thing, and I'll ask you about that. He's like, well, I don't know anything about it. I was like, dude, don't you use Macs? He's like, fuck no.
Turns out he knows less than.
Turns out none of us knew anything about Macs, so we kind of just glazed over that topic and didn't really talk about it much. Rix, you use Macs, don't you?
I do, yes.
Okay.
Exclusively, yes.
Exclusively, I mean, they're not better, but we
So have you
Are
been
kinda
using
better.
Wine all this time to play Eve?
What's that?
Have you been using Wine all this time to play Eve?
Well, as long as Wine has been around, yeah, not before that, but since 2000, and I started playing Eve in 2008 because that's when it became available on the Macintosh. That's what started me playing Eve.
My
I
court
thought that was
mates
a
whine
drinking
all the
comment
time
for
while
a
playing
second.
Eve.
Because I couldn't play it before on PC. Was that?
I was just saying, I thought that was a drinking comment for a moment, and then I remembered the emulator.
Right.
yeah. So it's it's an emulator. Now,
I thought it just meant people with Macs, they whined a lot.
We do wine
They're-
a lot. That's
they're
why I call it
winos.
wine, yes.
nice. Now, obviously, emulators aren't the best.
No,
I can
they're
understand.
not.
So, but
So if a
is
Mac
it-
has to emulate a
Well,
PC, isn't it make a
look-
PC better?
Drayden, ask your question.
Well, I was gonna say,
Let's
so,
let
I mean,
Rick
like,
explain.
Understanding that emulators are not the best way to run a program, but is the wine version of the client that bad that it couldn't just be left alone, or is this just something?
Well, no, not technically. I think there's. I wish Mechanic was here because he could answer this better than me. But there are some technical issues moving forward with Apple. Apple's changing out its chipset and some of its architecture, and so future-proofing Eve. If our goal is Eve forever, Eve can play, and addressing the platform issues of mobile, because there's also the iPad and all that other stuff going on too. Because Mac is moving towards the M1 chip, and then of course the M2 chip. So that is really the impetus for moving it now, because that's going to be future-proofing an entire generation of players who are going to be playing it on those computers. So yeah, the emulation that we have now, Wine, isn't actually that bad. It's pretty solid. The one we had previous to that was from 2008 to around 2010 was horrible. I can't tell you how many times I've crashed or died or something because of the Mac emulation. But
is the Mac Wine and the what do you call it, the oh geez, I drew a blank on the other operating system, Linux line, the Linux Wine, are they the same?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay, I was just curious.
Or
I've
very
used
similar.
Wine before, I've used it on Linux, but I've never used
Yes.
it.
Do a shot. It's shot time. Sorry, go ahead, Rick. I was just...
No, so that's why, and the other reason too, though, is when last week when it was available, I immediately went over onto Sissy and played it pretty much all morning and cackled with glee, and my wife could tell you that's absolutely true, because she sits right over there and works during the day. So, but I was laughing my ass off because it's been 13 years and it just works so well. You can just tell the computer loves it. I don't have any fan issue. I'm doing all the things that I'm doing. It's just smooth. It's not really that different. If you had just logged on and you hadn't played for 6 months, you might not even notice it. But of course, I play almost every day, and it was just a joy. And it uses the Retina. Well, I have a iMac Pro, so I'm using 5K Retina display. Oh my God, just absolutely gorgeous. Not anywhere near. Can't get anywhere near that with the Wine emulation. The native Mac is using its architecture. It's using the programming. It's using what the Mac is built to do for the first time ever.
So you're talking about with the retinal display
I can
stuff.
see you, Manic.
I love you. So you had the same tone of voice as Drayden gets when he talks about science. I love listening to people talk about things they're passionate about. It is great to hear.
Well, it's funny because right before the show, I'm like, stuff about Macs, right? Rick's like, I haven't used them for a long time. I didn't expect he was like, let me just tell you about all the architecture and how this whole operating system works. I was like, damn, okay. I don't know what half this is, but
well, then he revealed right before the show he'd been using them since 1979.
Yeah,
that's a little bit.
Before they were even Macintoshes. Yeah.
He's like, I think I've used a Mac or two.
Yeah, so I mean, a native Mac client is a huge thing for about 12 to 15%. I think the last time that that information was shared with us from CCP, for about 12 to 15%, which I can only assume has gone up over the years.
I'm surprised it's that big.
Yeah, so
I thought it would have been in like between 5 and 10%. Wow.
Yeah, I know at least a lot of people who I've talked with over the years. Darwin's probably telling us some stuff there. I have to check, but
MacPort also got a great boost from Windows DX12 effort since Metal. I'll let you finish up because I have a question about the Metal thing. Or were you done?
No, I'm done. I mean, it's just it's important. It works great. It's awesome.
Well, because so I guess the Wine thing was using DirectX 9. I don't know a lot about the DirectX and all that stuff. So this one with the Mac client that's going to be using Metal, I'm assuming that's like Apple's version of DirectX. essentially.
I think so.
But
Yes.
so
Honestly, I'm not a tech head. I'm a creative person, but I do keep up with a lot of it, but I don't know all the ins. And that's why I usually ask CCP mechanic, and he tells me what's going on. So
yeah, because I was curious, like, because I wasn't sure if like DirectX 9 was like a Windows only thing, and so the reason why it could work with DirectX 9 is because Wine was being used. I was just curious, or does Apple or does Mac OS use DirectX as well, or is it exclusively Windows?
I don't know.
Okay.
I'll call the Genius Bar and ask.
But they made it sound like the metal thing was gonna help with the display a lot better as far as.
Oh, it looks
graphics.
so much better. It looks like 1,000%. I mean, 1,012% better.
Did you come across? Like, so you were doing the play testing with this. You were testing the whole thing on the client.
Yeah,
on
last
Sissy.
Thursday for 4 or 5 days. I can't remember exactly, but yeah, on Singularity.
Did you come across any like crashes, bugs, or anything like that? Because they made it sound like that those were going to be rife in the thing because it's still like an early alpha, I guess, type thing.
Not a single one. No, I had I did a whole bunch of stuff. I did some PVE. I ran some missions. I undocked carriers and dreads. I built ships. I put fittings on them. I had some people come over on the Singularity from Stay Frosty, and we had a little combat belts. We had combat at the planets. We went to the sun. We did all those things, and not a single issue. I mean, it looked like it was ready to go to me. So if it's going to get better, then that's great. But it looked really great.
Gosh, just launch it, CCP. What are you waiting for?
Yeah,
the man's been waiting for 13 years.
If it's working, it works. Comic just linked a picture of a Kronos. I'm guessing this is from the client.
Oh, there, yeah.
Oh, it's on Rick's Flickr account.
Yeah,
does this look better than our game?
If that's at 5K, is that at 5K?
That's 5K, yeah.
Yeah. Oh shit, I'm zooming in. That's bitchin'. Holy
shit. You guys
shit.
can't give Mac better than Windows graphics?
Yeah, when does the PC get 5K?
Yeah, zoom in. It's pretty awesome.
What
I would do is I would drop bookmarks and take screenshots in Singularity, and then I'd transfer those bookmarks to Tranquility, fly the same ship to the same bookmark, and take the same screenshot, and then I'd put those next to each other and send those off to B so they can see the difference. But
that's cool.
That's really cool.
Amazing.
Tempest Data is saying there's also an issue with running in a lower resolution in window mode, but I can live without it. Oh, I think he was talking to Colin.
Yeah, so in order to run, well, at least with the beta, I don't know if this is good. I mean, to his point, right now with the beta that they released, in full screen mode, you could do 5160 by 4000, whatever, the 5K. If you wanted to run it in Windows mode, you could only do the 2560 by 1975 or whatever the half res was. Half res.
This is the best ad for Macintosh ever. I'm gonna go out and buy one tomorrow.
And
if I could play Eve at 5K.
Yeah, it's also not just resolution either. I mean, it's Retina display. I mean, it's smooth.
The Retina display. Yeah.
So what is? I've always heard that with the Mac, I know iPads and all that stuff have it. What is the Retina display? What is?
It's the screen that you look at with the computer stuff on it.
Well, no,
it's where the pictures.
I mean, like, what is it?
It's where all the pixels
I know
go.
what
when
the
computer
display
fires
is.
out the pixels, they end up on the Retina display.
I know what the display. I'm saying, like, what does it mean by when they call it Retina? Like, what does that give it over like a normal LCD?
I have no idea.
Oh.
Look
really
like
great.
side by like you can
You've reached the limit of my.
Jeez.
I think it has to do first with pixel density, and it seems like the colors are more vibrant, and like if you were to if you had a standard LCD screen,
right,
and if you turned it off and just looked at the blank LCD screen with nothing displayed on it, it's not black, but it's not black. It's got kind of a matte sheen to it, but Retina displays, they display blacks really well.
Okay.
Like that's something you're not going to get. So the contrast in light and dark and differences in color is much more noticeable on a retina
Yeah,
display.
we can get into a lot of technicals about the screen thing, and Darwin made a good point there too. And one of the things about it is, so when I take a screenshot, say of that Chronos in my hangar, it's 5K, but it's 5K at 144 DPS, which I'm sure if you're a screenshot person, do you know that normally when you take a screenshot, it's at 72 DPS. So not only is it 5K, but it's twice the DPS. So that also makes the image a little bigger. I can make it even bigger, get it to 72 DPS. But like Darwin was saying, there's a limit to that. It's about a 30, I think around 30% extra resolution. Yeah, so that means going in or out, but yeah, it's pretty cool.
I assumed it tracked your retinas for like some sort of screen focus. When he asked, I was like, thank you. I've never heard of retina display.
I do get ads for things I'm just thinking about, so I don't know what that's going on, but yeah.
I was thinking
it might be.
Just flips it upside down like your retina does. Like just everything is upside down.
I literally got an ad for something that I had only thought about the other day. What was it? Damn
Manscaped.
No,
the lawnmower
was...
Let's take a moment.
I was just checking to make sure I wasn't making Darwin mad.
Did we let them know we did 2 ad rolls in one video, in one show? No.
The Macintosh, now available at the Mac store.
Oh, it was a fucking treadmill. I've been thinking about getting a treadmill because I've got a standing desk now, and
run in spot while you play
well
games?
yeah, like
because
I work from home and like everybody's been working from home, and I'm not going out and exercising as much as I probably should be. So if I can, I've just been thinking about a treadmill lately, and sure enough, today I'm sitting in the doctor's office in the waiting room, and a fucking treadmill ad shows up in my Instagram feed. Freaked me out.
We did I don't have a promo code yet. I'm working on it. I sent the email out yesterday. But it's gonna take.
She's going to the pool.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to the pool. I need my lawnmower.
Manscaped order.
We mentioned that it works for both.
Yeah.
We talked about National Vagina Day.
Gonna get arrested.
Ma'am, you've got too much hair sticking out of your bikini.
Ma'am, you're gonna.
Ma'am, you got to clean that up down there.
Man, I suggest a lawnmower.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if a fucking cop came up to you and he's like, "You got to trim that back." Like you're at a public pool or at the beach or something, sir.
Beaches in France,
sir. We can't accept that, sir. We have to write you a ticket. That's fucking perfect.
It's technically not illegal. I would hope it's not illegal. Mom Balikos is here. How's it going, Mom?
I'll clean our act up, guys. Come on.
Oh, Mom is here. Okay, guy, put the alcohol away. We weren't drinking your booze, Mom.
I was looking at standing.
We'll refill all the vodka bottles with water. It'll be fine.
And apparently, there's like certain stools or chairs or whatever that were like treadmill. Approved chair or whatever. And I was like, wait, what? Like what? I'm just looking at desks, and apparently people have treadmills under them at their standing desks. Yeah. And then they make stools that sit better if you don't want to move the treadmill. I don't think you have to turn it off, I imagine.
I thought you meant people were sitting on the chair and walking, like dangling their legs on the treadmill at the same time. Like, what the fuck good is that going to do?
Hey, it's better than nothing.
If super ankles.
I like how CCP Convict's like, Mom, I work at CCP now. It's like, bam, you gotta tell her what your real name is. If she just is now finding out you're CCP, she doesn't know who CCP Convict is.
Some kind of criminal is what I'm thinking.
I think I don't know.
Well, based on where it comes from, that makes sense.
I always wonder, like, people with a standing desk, if they have a treadmill, like, do they ever just, like, trip and just eat shit while they're playing a game? Be like, yeah, just hello?
That would be
broadcast
funny.
for reps. Like, give
I'm
me
sure
reps.
there's a Twitch
like the Logi pilot's just like
face
planted with like rug burn on their face. Just...
there has to be.
I would love to. I mean, I wouldn't want to see it. I would want to see it actually.
Oh, I would watch it over and over.
Just don't use a Peloton.
I'm probably gonna be like searching YouTube later for standing desk treadmill fails or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there's got to be clips.
There's got to
there.
be.
There's gotta be.
It's happened.
Gotta
in
It's
this
happened
infinite
before.
universe.
Someone link it in chat, please.
Oh,
Sure they will.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can. I mean,
all you
all
weirdos
my
in
audio
chat,
comes
go
through
Google
the
that
stream
for
because
us.
I'm not smart enough to set up virtual audio cables, so I can't be like browsing YouTube while running the stream.
No, that wouldn't. Yeah, that'd be bad.
On a Mac Retina display, you can.
And that's
The
where
limit-
it shoots it right to your eyeballs.
Oh,
right?
the limitations.
Who needs a screen anymore? Mac's got you covered.
Yeah, but you don't get the pleasures of Bing on Macs.
The
I don't get
pleasures of being on a Mac.
No, I take that back. You can use
Oh,
Bing.
Bing.
You can't
Oh, right,
use
right.
Microsoft Edge.
All
The
right.
pleasure of
Yeah,
Bing.
you're not allowed. Oh, Bing, not being.
I heard
Yeah.
Bing as well.
Yeah, I'm sure you can use
I do.
Bing, but who would do that to themselves?
People.
Some people.
Oh, I know.
Not even
There's-
PC users use Bing.
No, there's
No. You stay away from it as much as possible.
yeah, it's. Okay. I know.
Bring
Rick's
us
has
back,
been-
Drayden.
What's up?
Bring us
reeling,
back.
I'm reeling it back. We're gonna get back on track, just like the treadmills.
That's ridiculous.
The I know Rick's has been dying. It's the main reason we brought him on. CSM's coming up. CSM is going. Well, it's not going on, but right now it's open for submissions.
open
Actually,
season.
don't start for a few days. Monday, I think, is when you can actually like officially submit. Right, but right now
Monday,
you can. Yeah, you can go on the forums. Let me get you. I'll get you a link in chat here in a second. On the Rain, you're kidding.
It's
I
too
don't.
bad
I
there's-
can't believe that in that she's being honest right there.
She's
I hope not.
been vaccinated. She's contractually obligated to
Yes,
say
you're
this.
right. I guess I'm still like converting. I got my second vaccine on
Rain has had her
Wednesday,
shots.
so it's only been a couple days.
I was just gonna say real quick. It's too bad there's no CSM candidates on stream
Yeah,
right now.
yeah. So CSM right now, there's a lot of people that have been posting on the forums. I'll get you a forum link where all the posts are for people's initial campaign threads that they're getting going. Rick
I
Javix
counted
is-
29 of them. So
Rick Javix is running. Yes, I got my 5G. Got my antenna all set up.
I got my first half Pfizer 5G today, so I don't have any stability yet. I
Nice.
haven't connected to anything.
First one or second one?
First one, so
Oh,
I
okay.
assume it's not gonna work. Yeah, I don't know.
I decided to get stage 1 Pfizer, stage 2 Moderna.
There you go.
Gonna do a
How's
minute.
your
Do a
connection?
little mix of it. It's pretty good
Oh
actually.
yeah, wasn't Redline gonna
Picking
run
up
this
Mars
year?
now.
He says,
Nice.
yeah, he'll write a thread, but yeah. So, Rix, you're running for CSM. Your thread's up on there. It's a decent one. It's got some girth to it, but it's not
Thanks.
it's not a lengthy like where you look at the length and you're like, oh my god.
Just look at the pictures.
Yeah, I tried
There's some good
neither to
pictures.
be too short nor too long, just
Yeah.
right. and considering it's what it is today, so I'm not gonna say because Mom's here, but yes, so neither too long nor too short. But
So you're
yes,
saying you're the
Goldi-
Goldilocks of the
Yes.
CSM, right?
Just right.
Just right.
Just right. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
just right. That's
Yeah, so
perfect.
go ahead and give us a rundown of your essential platform, your running strategy, or not strategy, but like just your expertise. Basically, essentially all the questions that you're posted on there. Kind of give us the summary.
Okay, so who am I? I'm Rick Javix, and been playing Eve since 2008 for 13 freaking years. And every time that I bring it up at the beginning of the year, and I say to my wife, should I run? Can I run for CSM this year? She says, hell no. So, and for good reason. Lots of reasons. Had full-time jobs, did a lot of traveling, moving houses, doing things like that, raising children. All those things. There was always a good reason to not do it. Yeah. This year, though, for the first time around January when it came out, somebody said something about the CSM, and I turned to my wife and I said, "Wife, can I think about running for CSM this year?" She said, "Okay."
For the first time in your life, you got nothing going on. You've got nothing but
Total
time
loser.
to run for the CSM.
Yeah, so I'm a total loser.
Stars aligned.
Well, now that you put it that way, manic, yes. So, we're all working from home. My wife's working from home. our oldest, my oldest is 27 years old, but we have 4 boys. The second one is 18 this year. So the other two are 17 and 16. So they're in their last years of high school. They're fully motivated on their own. They won't fall over and die. They don't get trapped places, things like that. They don't catch on fire spontaneously
like kids do.
As often.
like kids can be known to do, right? So they're old enough. So it's like, yes, that would be possible. Plus, I think a little bit of it is that we've been trapped in this house for a year, for 18 months now together, and I think she wants me out of the house. So she's kind of hoping that maybe
She
travel
can't wait to
restrictions.
send you to Iceland for a
Be in
CSM
Iceland
meeting.
for a week, yeah, so she could party with her friends. So I think there's a little bit of that, just get the hell out, kind of thing going on. But seriously though, so yeah, I decided to take the plunge, dive full speed into the crazy political world of the CSM. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. So, as most of you know, I am the CEO of Stay Frosty and the Alliance Executive of Band Apart. We live in Lowsec. I'm a -10 pirate, have been for 10 years. Probably won't change. So, Lowsec has a lot to do with my platform and what I'm looking to do, and faction warfare, Lowsec, PvE, all that. I lived in Nullsec for 3 years, traveled around, fought wars. That too, so I've wormholes, all of it really, but nobody believes you when you say you really support all of EVE, so I have to go on the Lowsec thing.
Your artwork's amazing.
Oh, thank you. Yeah,
I did not
thanks,
know
guys.
all your.
You've done a little bit of artwork for the community.
Just a tiny little bit. At last count, over 1,200 Alliance logos that are well, most of which are not in game anymore because alliances tend not to last. Sadly.
Your ship posters were amazing.
There's only a few
No,
alliances in game anymore.
It's funny because anytime you see art in the game now, it's not a surprising thing where so you're like, oh, that's really cool. They're like, yeah, Rick's made it. It's like, of course he did,
right.
Because he's made everything. Like everything in the game is pretty much done by. If it wasn't done by CCP's art team, Rick's did it. So
he's done phenomenal art for years, and that's the way I knew him. And then him
Right.
now telling about his like in-game corporate pedigree, and I'm like, oh shit, you're an actual notable dude, but but you make great work.
Rick's is also partially the reason we have hats in the game.
Yeah. Hats. Frills on Vagabonds.
Oh, you did the frills on the Vagabond?
Well, a long time ago, before most of you were born, CCP did a really stupid thing. They redesigned the Stabber, the Vagabond, and the other one. And one day I logged on, and the Vagabond didn't have its things sticking out of the side of it, which I called frills.
Yeah, whiskers.
And so I started a campaign where I put Elizabethan frills around Twitter avatars, and
like doilies,
the big things that go around the neck. Yeah. So I did over 250 of those, and then Mark Sakaris. You remember Mark?
The name sounds familiar. I don't know him.
Yeah, he's anyway. I don't want to go. That's a side thing, but Mark is a great guy. I still stay in touch with him. Anyway, in his. So we got RVB, Brave, Uni together. We did a march on Jita with Vagabonds. Did a protest. We shot to the statue. We did that whole thing. They did a write-up about it in Eon magazine. This is how long ago that was. And we did a protest. We got news coverage. We did all of that. Now this is so long ago that I really didn't know anybody at CCP, actual CCP, and just a few people here and there. So what we turned to find out was that the whole frill thing was actually just a mistake from the art director. I found this out years later, talking to him. And so one day somebody went into his office and they said, and I don't remember his name, but they said, Steve, you know that players are upset that there's not frills on the Vagabond anymore. And he went, what do you mean there's no frills on the Vagabond? They were supposed to be there. And they're like, no, they haven't been on there for like 2 weeks. He's like, "Oh my God, we got to turn them back." So he just turned them back on, and they were back on. But
Wait, so
Wait,
it
it's
was
just a
just like a
slight-
flag
yeah.
in the code, like a 0 or a 1 would
it's-
put frills on the Vagabond?
I don't know. There's a switch.
Wow.
There's a switch somewhere at CCP.
It actually
Frills,
has its
no
own
frills, I
variable.
don't know.
Like,
It's got its own variable.
its own
in the
Boolean
code.
variable,
That's
like
amazing.
true or
Well, it's
false
legacy
frills.
code, you know, guys.
Just
So
turn it back on.
That box.
Hilmar coded that himself, so it's probably
probably
Darwin,
doesn't
Darwin
have
said it
a
was
statement.
Darwin said it was Asker, not Steve, but
Yeah, I don't know.
That's
the
how you say
details, but
Steve in
that's-
Icelandic.
It does seem to
kind of
be
like
the actual
Etienne
stories.
in French or whatever.
Sure, I'm
I-
making a joke.
I don't know why I know that, but for Etienne is like France's version of Steve.
Yeah, it's a lot like the story about how the Mollusk Navy issue came about. That was CCP Fozzie's idea of getting me to shut up about workhorse stabs by introducing a whole ship designed to. Yeah, there's actually a podcast where he talks to somebody and he says, "We introduced this ship to shut Bricks up about workhorse stabs." So, and he's
That's
confirmed
pretty
that.
impressive.
That's pretty cool too.
That's got to be a nice feather in your
Yeah.
cap.
Yeah. So, yeah, making trouble, getting away with stuff over the years, but trying to have a lot of fun with it, and get the community involved. It's a lot like what we do with the events in game with the recent Frigate Free for All, where we had over 12,500 ship explosions in one day, which Fozzie has confirmed set the record for the most ships destroyed in a single day in Eve's history in LoSec. That set the record for LoSec ship explosions in a single day. There were 6,000. We made 6,500 frigates and handed those out, and then people brought their own and stuff. So, pretty crazy. Hey.
I did see a question. Rain had a question in
Rain had
chat.
one, yeah.
Yeah, she was wanting to know what makes you stand out from, or why vote for you over the other low-sec candidates? Because there's actually quite a few. Like, I didn't get through. I think I missed about 5 or 6 of the final ones up at the top. I started at the bottom and worked my way up on these posts. So because a lot of the ones at the top, it's like I've heard of. It's like I did get to Brisk and stuff. I mean, like Brisk and all those guys that are like incumbents, and it's like, okay, I know who these guys are, and I kind of know what their expertises are. And like Satonia, it's like I kind of grazed over Satonia's because I mean it's like Satonia's a good candidate. He knows his shit. He does small game PvP. He's all that stuff. But as far as low sec, I mean you got a whole bunch of new people coming in that I've not heard of before, but they're running for low sec. Arcia Elkin was one that hers was a post that I was actually kind of impressed with. She's doing like a low sec faction warfare, but also she's like, there's lore candidates this year.
Yeah,
I'll
there are
get that
lore
a little bit.
candidates,
Yeah,
Uriel,
Arcia
yeah.
Elkin and Uriel's running, so you got these lore candidates that are pushing for that. So
Akaroth and Dominarch just decided to check out right as soon as you mentioned lore.
yeah,
They
they're out of there.
disappeared.
But yeah, so sorry to keep dragging my question on, but with
No.
or Rain's question. So with the low sec candidates, why are you over them? I guess.
Well, that's a very, very good question, and one that there are, I have to admit, a lot of good low-sec candidates this year. There have been in the past as well. I mean, Insidious Sainthood, for
Phantom
one.
Knight's running again.
Yeah, he might. I mean, he said I asked him.
He's
so
got a post, so.
Okay, he does now.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, a lot of good candidates. So why me over them? So here's what I would say is that I've been -10 for 10 years. I play every single day in LoSec. I undock. Stay Frosty is well known around the universe for the solo and small gang, faction warfare, fighting, causing trouble, making things up, making things happen, putting on events. But here's the other thing too, and I read this a lot when I talk to CSM members who have been there for the first year. I bring something to the table that a lot of people don't on their first time out. So this is my first time running for CSM. I've certainly helped other candidates in the past fail at running for CSM, and a few to get through. But I've been working with CCP, since 2015, 14 really. Previous to that, on the posters, done work with them before. Other projects, and I am right now, as a matter of fact, still working on the Eve store merchandise. I've got some designs that are going out next week for new stuff that's going up on the Eve merch store. I have a working relationship with a lot of the people at CCP, so I mean that's some experience that a new player or a new CSM member doesn't usually table with. So that obviously I think separates me a little bit. I mean, also good and bad, right? I also have 4 cease and desist letters in my pocket from CCP lawyers for doing things that they found a bit troublesome.
Oh no!
But honestly, those were all for the right reasons. Back in the day, I mean, it's hard to remember. CCP was a lot different company back in 2010, 2015, in that range. Not as open to players, not as open to talk to you, especially certain departments. Not the art department. Certainly, they're always been awesome. But we developed. I actually developed a browser-based game. Igor, I won't use his last name, legal reasons, but Igor did it. It was a drifter-based side scroller, like a Defender game.
I remember
it was live for 2 days. Yeah, we tried really hard to make it acceptable to CCP. That got taken down. Just really trying to make a world in which CCP would work with its fans, which I am super happy to say. I'm not going to take credit for all of it, of course, because it's just ridiculous. Everything that happens in Eve, if anybody ever takes credit for one thing, they're lying, because it's never one person's thing. It's always 50 people or 100 people.
Brisk did single-handedly get rid of the red dot.
Yeah,
okay,
that's
all right. The red dot.
Brisk and his red dot.
We'll give Brisk the red dot.
Yeah.
And deservedly so. But I am happy to say that there are artists now, like myself, but also others, who are working under license with CCP because of those 4 cease and desist letters, because somebody like myself took the chances, risked getting sued legally. There are people who are legitimately selling Eve IP for money, and that's great, and I'm very proud of that too. So that's yet another thing that would separate me, as I've always been, since the first day I found out that there were other people on the other side of those red dots, been a person who's been pushing boundaries, getting things done in Eve, working with or against certain people in Eve to get Warp Core Stabs banned from Plexes, talking to Master Plan, talking to Rise, talking to all these people to work problems out with Faction Warfare, for LowSec, for Eve in general. So even not being on the CSM, I kind of feel like I've been doing a CSM job for the last 10 years. So
yeah, okay.
Certainly
You're
sounds
still
like you've
getting
helped
shit done.
Yeah, help
and
navigate the waters and build the path.
I'm extremely passionate about Eve, and I know Drayden knows, because he was on a cruise ship with me for a whole week.
Yeah,
but he knows how that went. And Manic, of course, we go way back to the very early days when Manic was only this big and knee high to a grasshopper. So,
It's true.
but seriously though, I mean,
when Manic was a wee babe,
he was in my blood. People have been in this house, in my house, 4 times. I've had player events at my own home, 30, 40, 50 people in my house celebrating Eve. So, and I'm me barbecuing and making food for them, so, and drinking and getting drunk. But yeah,
you've got a Webby Award.
And you get a Webby Award.
And they don't just give those to anybody, folks.
And I have
no, we might rethink this.
But seriously, you pointed out your working relationship with CCP. I think that's super important, because I don't know if this is necessarily an Icelandic thing, but over the years I've noticed that you really have to understand how to communicate with CCP if you want to get your foot in the door and make things happen in the game. You have to kind of change your language a bit to something that they're going to respond to. Like I see it at every like Eve Vegas and FanFest when they have developer panels, and somebody somebody in the crowd grabs the microphone and say, hey, would you consider this and this and this? And the devs always say, yeah, we'll consider it. Like, that's
It's
not
easy
much
to
of an
say-
answer.
well, that's always something you can agree
so,
to.
Yeah, it's so easy to say, yes, we'll consider it. Because
Yeah, we'll
that
look
means
into
they
that.
just have
We'll
to
think
they have
about
to
it.
think about it for 5 seconds and done. They've considered it. May or may not make it into the game. But
Yeah.
if you've worked with CCP for a long time, you get to understand the proper way to talk to them.
Yeah,
I think that's really
a lot of
important
people don't
for the
understand that really the best way to have a conversation with a dev or with anyone is it's not just CCP, but it's come to them with a problem, but come to them with the solution already figured out. Figure out what it is that's going to solve that problem at least 90%, 75%, 80% of the way, because it's impossible. We don't have access to player data, to important things, and that's what the CSM is so great about, because they will share that with us. But we can get pretty far. So when you come to them and say, I want to ban workhorse stabs, I know because I've been there. The first time I said that, it was a joke. It was, this and that. Once you realize what you need to do, you come to Master Plan or Fozzie or somebody and you say, here's how we're going to deal with that. We're not going to ban workhorse stabs, but you know what we can do? We can keep them out of Plex. Just turn a switch where a ship with a workhorse stab can't get into Plex, so that's not a problem anymore. Of course, that will replace that with completely empty ships being able to go into Plexes. Now a problem. But and again, a great example of cause and effect, right? We got rid of them, but now there's other issues. So that's always the way EVE works too. What are the second tertiary things that are going to happen because of something you did? It's easy for us to sit out here and go, do this, do that, do this. And they have to consider the worldwide ramifications of 500,000 people suddenly being able to do that thing. And what is it going to mean 6 months from now or 10 years from now? And again, that's the trick.
I just want to provide a little bit of balance to the shilling that we're doing and say that before the stream, Drayden did mention that on the cruise you get a bit handsy in the pool, but honestly, I'm not sure if that's a pro or a con. Like that, it could go both ways.
It was a hot
ways,
tub,
yeah,
but
it
you were
could go both
close.
ways.
Yeah.
I think there was a few times where he mistook me for chocolate rain, so that may have happened.
Got a little too handsy.
A little too handsy, Drayden. Damn
No,
it.
no.
We drank a lot.
We were
drank a lot.
newlyweds. I was a little drunk. That's fine.
Yeah.
You do look a lot alike, honestly.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Ricks and Rain.
I can understand the mistake.
Well, when I'm shaving.
Yeah. Well, Rain has a little bit less gray hair in her beard, but
Right. That's why I grew the beard, so we could be told apart.
right. Yeah. God, no.
Come on, man.
Who
Come on,
was
man.
it? Who was it that broke the door on that? It wasn't you. You were there. Who was the other big guy?
Oh yeah.
We were trying to pull because it was up on the back deck at night, and that door, like because of the wind, kept slamming open. And it was cold, so we tried to close it, and someone tried to close it and just ripped the whole handle off of the door.
Yeah, I remember it, but I don't remember who that was.
Damn it. Damn.
Was it confirmed that it was an EVE player?
Yeah, because
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
all
it
of
was
us
one
EVE
of
players
us.
in the back.
One of
Yeah,
us,
he was
for
an
sure.
EVE player for sure.
Just
Ooh,
making
boy.
drunken friends.
He's
on
in that
cruise.
like
Just
that.
destruction of
If you ever
property,
watched
and it's
that cruise
attributed
video
to the
I
EVE
made,
community.
like when it gets into like
It's not the
the
first time.
end of the song where it's like the more screamy part, the guy at the back when we're all laughing and he's just like, "Ah!" just like does like the big
Oh, that
flex.
guy, yeah.
It's that guy, and you could see in the background the door. It's like one of those like big push handle doors, and the handle's just like crooked, hanging off because he was trying to pull it and just yanked half the handle off.
Oh, so Blastum says he knows who it is, and he's from Vegas.
He's actually
and Blastum
from Vegas.
is from Vegas. So
Right.
Blastum knows who his self is, and Blastum is from Vegas. So we can, with this information, we can reasonably assume that it was Blastum that tore the door handle off.
Blastum broke the handle.
Probably.
Damn it, Blaston.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, gave himself up. Sort of.
It was a vague and casual admission of guilt.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to say that I'm better than anybody else.
We should have Akaroth on all the
but-
time because he's laughing at all of my jokes, and I love it.
You could be like, what was on the Tom Green show? Phil, the guy in the back.
Phil, the guy
He
sitting
just
in
had
the
the
background
coffee
who
cup,
would
just
laugh
laughing
at
at
everything. That's Akaroth. Yes, I love it.
Just slapping his knee every time Manic says anything.
Laugh at my jokes.
That's funny.
Ed McMahon of Open Comms. That's an old reference I probably shouldn't have used.
Ed McMahon. I'm thinking.
Yeah, no,
Vince,
I
I'm
got
thinking
it.
Vince
Okay,
McMahon.
all right,
I'm like,
all
what
right.
the?
I got it, Ricks. I think you and I
Alright,
are probably the only ones that did, but I got it.
Okay, so it's Orso Polaire. That's his character name. That's who broke the door. I don't know him in game, but
I've seen
Yeah,
Drayden drunk. It might have been him.
Also, what else? Why am I running? Why should you vote for me? What
all the
qualifications do I bring to the table? What else? I don't know.
How many skins can you get promised to be added to the game? That's how you get my votes. Tell you right
If
now.
you get elected, we want more skins.
More
Ricks.
skins.
I did
Whoever.
ask in the partner channel if it would be against the EULA if I gave skins away for votes, but they said yes, probably. So no free skins
Well,
for votes.
Probably is not that's not confirmed. You might.
Um,
I could give away skins
There's
for
always
somebody
time
else's
for that
votes,
fifth
right?
cease and desist.
I don't know about you guys, but I don't want Aurora mad at me, when I'm getting free skins every month. So, which is a
The
pretty
only
cool perk.
candidate running with.
So I got a thing with the CSM. Now this is something it's kind of been this whole. I don't even know what you would call it, but every time the CSM, you always have the people saying that this is what I'm going to go in and do or try to do. I'm going to try and get these changes implemented, and then you have the people that are also on the side of, I'm not going to tell you what changes I'm going to implement because CCP, like the CSM, is not meant for people to come to CCP and
that's
tell
not
them their
job,
game design.
Right.
It's not their
And,
job.
but there is a thing where I mean, I don't know how the CSM meetings go, but I guarantee that CCP does listen to opinions on game mechanics and game changes and things like that. So the people that are coming in there saying, like, you should never go in there saying, like, I'm gonna get this changed, because you're probably not. But you can go in there saying, these are my opinions on these issues. I see, like, in your thing, you're talking about different kill mails, UI improvements, and stuff like that. So, so knowing that you're not going in there as a game dev, but you're going in there with opinions, because again, I didn't have a chance to read through your whole post before the showtime, but
No,
so,
it's okay.
so what
Sorry.
are if you want to go over some of your stances on like I would say, like, not your intended changes, but your
the platform.
perceived
Yeah, right.
your
The
platform
things
on things you would like to see.
Right. So there are three things that the CSM is for, and they all boil down basically to being a focus group for previous, future, or current changes to the game, and then a representative of what players might think about those things. So that's what we're really for, is to tell CCP if they've gone too far or done something wrong, or there's something missing from what they're planning. That's really a focus groupy kind of a thing, is what the CSM is for. But having said that, there is a place for advocacy, and I like to call it advocacy because we're advocating for a play style, game mechanic change, some type of thing that we feel is important to the game because we've been told it's important, or we've experienced that it's important because we live it, right? So we're players too. Like I said, I undock every day to play EVE, and so I know what's going on. And my players tell me I'm responsible for 600 players, and they tell me what they think too. And then all the people I interact with. So yeah, I have advocacy. I'm advocating for faction warfare because it's embarrassing how long it's been since that system was implemented and how few iterations on that. It's embarrassing. It's embarrassing to CCP. It's embarrassing to any of the players that are playing it. It needs to be addressed. And there's a lot of ideas out there for how to address it. I've outlined a few in my thing, but really, honestly, that list that we've worked on, that other players have worked on, that I've worked on, that my corp mates have worked on, that people in faction warfare have worked on, is a very long. We need to scrap it. We need to start over. We need to do something to improve faction warfare, to give younger players a reason to come to LowSec, to engage in combat, and to be risk rewarded for that engagement, and to get away from empty ships, defense plexing, for rats not shooting people, for the kind of mechanics that aren't helpful to anybody. They aren't helpful to new players. They aren't teaching them anything, and we need to get to that mechanic because honestly, LowSec, let's be honest, LowSec is a bridge between HighSec and NullSec.
It's
Uh,
I would say
for a
it's
lot-
of all the, if you want to get into not just high sec, low sec, null sec wormholes, but also like industry PV. I would say
Sure.
that low sec is like the smallest niche of gameplay in Eve. If you're including larger niches, I would say that that's it. And I would say that it also, if you did like, I bet if you did a tally or a vote that everyone in the game participated in, it's like what area or section of the game probably needs the most improvement, I would guarantee faction warfare would be
Probably the highest
top,
of top of
three,
everybody's
if not
list.
first,
It's an
top
easy
three.
pick.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's been like that for a long,
Yeah,
as far as I can remember. I mean,
Oh,
going
very
all the way
long
back, when I started in like early 2012, and even going all the way back that far, faction warfare was, as long as I've played this game, it's always been faction warfare is not in a good state, and I don't know how you fix it. Like that, I don't play it, so I don't really know what could be done to make it better. But it's just one of those things where it's like I don't know how you make faction
Well, you
warfare.
iterate on it. Changes take time. Changes take phases or iterations, so you can iterate on it. My suggestion would be there are some easy iterations that can happen right away with very little effort on CCP's part. Rat aggression would be one. So right now, a problem is that a player can go into a plex and just sit there. That's called deplexing, and deplexing is a problem because you can do it in an empty ship with no fittings on it, which is just really antithetical to everything that Eve stands for. That's because the rats don't aggro you. That could be changed right away, and that would change a lot of things. There are other things that can be done simply and quickly to iterate on faction warfare. Then there'd be the more moderate or medium-sized changes that would take longer to implement, and then there's long-term changes that might take a year or two to implement. I don't know what the plans are for CCP. Hopefully they'll tell us, and then maybe some of these are already in the works. But if they're not, then somebody needs to advocate for them to make them do it. Help give the solutions for doing it, and to make it as easy to do as humanly possible, so it doesn't take a lot of dev time. So whatever that takes, that's somebody you want on sitting at the table. You're here in my house or in Iceland, who's going to fight for what's important to you. And to your point about low sec being a low thing, it's always important, and I always say this when I'm talking about low sec. Every single player that you talk to is either going to be coming from or going to low sec or high sec or somewhere else. So either you're a wormholer. Very few players are only one thing. So you say, well, when a new player comes to Stay Frosty, I say, well, what's your background? Well, I used to play in nullsec, or I used to be a wormholer, or I used to be a mercenary in high sec, and now I want to do pirating. And if you're in Faith Abyss and you're talking to a new nullsec member, you say, where'd you come from? And they say, well, I did a lot of pirating in low sec, or I was in a wormhole, or I was in high sec. So Eve is very transitional.
Mm-hmm.
It affects all of us. So it's not about where you're hanging your hat today, but where you've been in the past or where players are going. So,
real quick, in regards to advocacy, you mentioned you were kind of getting involved with some merchandise items. Is there any chance you would advocate for maybe like a storage unit or 3 in various like regional locations on different continents so that they could just drop ship some merchandise and like make it affordable to want to buy like a coffee cup?
Yeah, so right now the Eve store is controlled by a third-party company out of California in the United States. So yes, the shipping is a huge problem. I don't want to even go into like how many units are being sold out of the Eve store, but it's embarrassingly low. The solution for that though really is probably very easy. It's a partnership with another company like like a Redbubble
that specializes in it.
Yeah, it's like somebody who already does that, right? Because Eve is never going to have the kind of quantity that you're going to need for. So it's going to have to be on demand printing when it's ordered. And there are companies that do that globally for a low price. I sell honestly between 200-300 units out of my Redbubble store every single month. Damn. There's one of them right there. Yeah.
I gotta find my own ones now. Oh, you sell out of Redbubble. These are ones that.
I was going to say, CCP, just do everything through Redbubble or Cafe Press. Like, this isn't hard.
I call it kinda IP. It's as close to IP as you can get without being sued.
I love like you ride that line. It's really I mean,
Yeah.
not only is it like it's cool, but it's
Oh, there's
like
one too. Yeah.
it takes
Little
a creative mind to be
twisted
able to
mind
do
to
This
that.
was the one that
Yeah,
Dirk
no,
had it
really.
made for-
Like
make
you
for
have
us,
to
takes
yeah.
you have to be able to
experience.
think a certain way to be able to pull that off effectively. It's
Right,
It's the
impressive.
experience of talking to their lawyers 4 times thus far.
Those
Right,
four
yeah.
those four
Well,
cease and desists.
Unlike the old days too, they're very good. I just had a conversation with if Convict's still on, he can confirm it. But I just had a
Amazing.
conversation with him 2 days ago about my propaganda posters that I'm doing for my CSM run. A whole bunch of people came to me and said, "I'd love those as T-shirts. Can you print them?" So I'm like, "I don't know. Can I?" So I ask, and so I'm waiting to hear it from that. But I might be able to get T-shirts printed. So, you know,
Just cut them down.
CCP's a lot. CCP's a lot different now than they used to be. They're a lot more open, and there's a lot more people to talk to. I built relationships with people I can just ask, right? So that's kind of cool. In the old days, back in the olden days, we didn't have that.
Big
Back in
ups to
my
CCP
day.
for.
Yeah, it took forever for those telegrams to get back from Iceland.
I mean, between the partnership program recently and a handful of other things that we've seen, big ups to CCP for becoming way
Yeah.
more interactive with
Absolutely,
content
yeah, it's awesome.
creators, and I don't know, it's pretty fascinating, honestly.
That's what I've been advocating for 15 years. Is it to be more engaged? There's a lot of very talented, extremely creative, amazing people in this community, and you can be using that power to your benefit. And I still think there's a long way to go to do that, to turn that switch and let the community, these crazy fans that love this game, like all of us here, to turn that on and really get things moving in the right direction. So, yeah.
Honestly, over the years with all the various third-party tools and all the things that have been done for the game, it blows me away that it's taken this long, but it's very inspiring that they want to embrace the fact that a lot of people are very passionate, a lot of people are very talented in each of their own little walks of life. Hey, maybe we just try to lean in on that, and throw some skins out and, give them a little pat on the back on streams and things like that. I think it could go a long way.
Absolutely, yeah. So, other than faction warfare, low sec stuff, battleships, ship balancing, risk reward balances, I did put in a couple of things that are sort of like little bit pet projects for me. One of those is the UI. You probably don't know this, but 7 years ago, I almost moved to Iceland and became a UI designer. I put a proposal together regarding the overview and how to change it and make it more modular, and that went over really well. I actually have a link for that on my CSM if you want to read my proposal to CCP on the modular overview. But
can you throw that link up in chat?
Yeah,
I'd love to read it.
Sounds
yeah,
really
it's on my CSM post if you there. Yeah.
Oh,
find it.
okay. I'll yeah.
Put that.
Yeah, down at the bottom there's a thing called links, and it's in the actual.
And
platform,
which
yeah.
one was it? Oh, the space boat.
Nope. No, it's not. It's actually in the balance part under
I got
low
it.
sec
I'll
under
put it in
UI.
chat.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it says read my modular overview, and it's all. But yeah, the UI. The thing is, and we all know this, a lot of that, like we were talking about Project Discovery, right? Absolutely gorgeous, beautiful interface, well designed, ergonomic, easy to follow. So many of the new things that have come out for Eve have been absolutely gorgeous, and the UI has been updated and beautiful. And then we get to actually playing the game, the overview and the D-scan and the local chats and and it's still the same that it's pretty much always been. So I think there's a lot of improvement there. I think we sort of take it for granted that the new player. We talk about new player experience. We talk about how they need skill points, they need all these things, but they also need to be able to understand how to play the game and also where to find things. And I still, to this day, we have people who've been in Corp for a while who don't know where certain things are, right? Or asking you, how do you get to X, or how do you find B, or it's ridiculous. The UI needs to be a little better for all of us to understand how to play the game, but also to organize all this data that we have to deal with. especially in large fleet fights and things.
I-
There's a lot of things that we could do to make that better.
There's
Yeah.
And then,
I-
yeah. And then another thing that I talked about, actually, the idea of, well, it sort of came out of a conversation I was having with Hilmar Reykjavik one night with some drinks in it, both of us. But is Killmail 2.0s, and we're talking about, now that Eve has evolved a little bit and the servers have gotten better, some of the technology's gotten better. There should be more data available in Killmails that would allow for assistance, such as Logi being on Killmails, ECM effects being on Killmails. But also think about this too. Think about timeline Killmails. So instead of battle reports just showing you a big splatter of things that generally are usually wrong, you're able to scroll through a Killmail and tell the beginning, the middle, and the end of a fight.
that would be cool. That
How
would be
cool!
so
How
cool.
cool would that be?
Oh.
So
Like
we should be at
timeline?
the point where Killmail
Right,
2.0.
yeah, you like go through a timeline of like the damage, the the.
Oh yeah, here's the
the-
ships that landed first,
Like,
and then here's the
yeah,
next wave
everything that
came in,
happened before the kill.
like E-War and stuff that's applied. Like, so you can be like, okay, this guy got hit with this thing, and then this damage came in, and then he got hit with a tracking
Right.
disruptor, and then that, and
Yeah, how
then this,
cool
and
would
then
that be?
it's like that would
sounds
be.
really good.
I feel
I
like
do-
is
I-
that going to
Just
overload?
battle summary.
Is that going to
Well,
overload the thing? Because like they made Brain in the Box, and they're trying to find ways to like not bog the system down with excess calculations.
it-
Is that adding all those timestamps? Is that going to add something onto the servers that's going to cause more load though?
Don't know.
It's already
you know,
logged. Make it
it's
an
already
after,
logged.
That's
after
true.
the fact
Well,
thing.
that's
like
true. It
your,
is, yeah,
like
it goes
your
in the
battle
logs.
report
So,
that
yeah,
you go to a
shouldn't-
web
yeah.
page or something,
would
and
just-
you can watch the battle play out.
Yeah, no,
via
no, you're right.
logs,
It's in the
essentially.
logs with timestamps already.
I
So
think
all
WoW
it
does something
would just
for
have
their
to be
raids where you can like watch how it played out, kind of.
Yeah, a lot of that,
Yeah, just
a
have
lot of
the
that
different
data is
parts.
already there, and exploiting it is just a matter of I don't know, but
That could be really good.
there's a
Just
lot of
bring
really
the
cool
data
things that
into
could
the
be done.
XML file. How hard can it be?
Right.
Just write the code.
The UI, the Killmail 2.0s, the Warp Core Stab solution, not the banning of them, but integrating those into ships and getting them properly, getting a new module that does the job that we want it to do without the other problems. Those are some of the things that I personally advocating for. But generally, it's going to be the same thing that everybody does is advocating for what you believe in, for what you're passionate about, for what the player. And then here's the other part of it too, though, is after you elect somebody, for them to be open to listen to new things as they come along, because we've all been there. And I've supported a lot of people over the years. Back in the day, I used to interview every single one of them and put up a ballot together for Evaganda to recommend people. And a lot of those people disappear after they're elected CSM, and I think that's another thing that's very important, because it's not just about now to June 18th or whatever the end of the election is. It's about the whole year or 365 days after that. Or are they talking to you, or are things changing, or can you get in touch with them? I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Discord, I'm on stations like this. I'm easily got, I keep my phone with me all the time. Anybody will tell you, text me, and I answer. So, that I think that's an important thing to be considered too. And who are you voting for, and do you trust that they're going to be there a year from now to listen to you when something horrible happens? And CC tries to throw. Well, think of this, guys. We were talking about skins earlier. We just had this conversation earlier today. What happens when skins give bonuses to ships, or a special skin does something special?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. I'm with Akaroth here.
Please
I'm
no.
gonna,
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
don't want that
nix
either.
that idea.
That's-
We're
No.
doing
like
our
gold
best
ammo.
to tolerate
CCP
where
Darwin,
you
do
need
not write
to.
that down. Don't write
I
that
know
down.
you've
Do not
got
take
electricity
notes.
bills.
I love skins, love them to
Gotta
death.
keep
I don't want them to
savers
do anything to
on.
my ship though.
Tell me
Something
how many
something
coffee
like that
mugs
might
we need
happen,
to buy,
and,
but
yeah.
But that's a great point. For a good CSM candidate is one that is present after they've been elected.
For sure.
Like
Yes.
somebody who is approachable to the rest of the community, because that's really why we're electing these people. We're electing them to represent us, the community at large.
Right, it's like a bigger version of what we're having here. So,
Right.
Drayden, Manic, Egg, and Dom, you guys, I'm all into me, and I'm going to go to Iceland and tell her what you think. That's kind of what it's about. So important.
Don't you claim to represent me, sir?
I might not, though. That's
You can
true.
represent me, Rex. I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
on
it's
board.
Yeah, feel free to vote for someone else if you don't feel I represent.
well,
you.
you
That's
get
fine.
what,
vote.
10? You get 10 votes. Well,
10
no, you
votes,
get.
yeah.
Well, okay,
See,
no. I take it. That's misleading. You get one vote, but you get 10 rankings that go
You
into
get-
a
CCP
system of
does
single
very good
transferable
options
vote
for
that
your
I.
How come I get to vote 10
This
times,
is a
Raiden? That's
whole
awesome.
other can of worms.
Yeah,
Oh
no,
yeah, it's a very
I've had
weird
the
like
single
voting
transferable vote explained to me like 10 times. I get the gist of it, but the very specific intricacies of it, I'm like, huh?
It may not be perfect, but it seems nice.
I get
well,
what it generally does.
I think it's a system of voting that is probably the least gameable, because CCP
I think it's probably the
knows.
best way to get the vote in.
Yeah, I mean, so actually, we just we here in Salt Lake City, Utah, we just voted on approving ranked choice voting for local elections, which I'm super happy about, and that's what the CSM is. It's ranked choice voting.
I was gonna say, I'm not
and
fresh enough on CGP Grey, but I feel like this is a decent mode.
It's been he's done a video on it. He's done a
It's his
video on
fault.
it, and
It is
it's
his
really
fault.
good. But yeah, it's a great way to vote. But yeah, the super simplified version is that you pick your 10 candidates and you rank them based on how well you think they represent you,
Yeah.
and what you want out of the game. So from 1 to 10. If you think Rix represents you the most as a player, put him in your number 1 slot.
Is that loosely saying like there's an algorithmic thing? They're weighted in such a way
Well,
that whatever.
so
dimension-
how
There
it
is,
how it
yeah.
essentially how it
Okay.
essentially works. Now I'm not gonna try and explain the super details, but essentially what it is, you rank the people. So your vote goes to your number 1.
Sure.
Now, if your number 1 is basically doesn't get enough votes that they're not going to make it, well, your vote's wasted if it stays there. So it passes on to your number 2. And essentially it goes like that. So your vote will count somewhere unless you voted for 10 people and none of those 10 made it on the CSM. That's the only way your vote basically went nowhere.
Okay.
So it goes down like that. But also, if, let's say, you vote for number 1 and they counted enough votes that it eventually got to where there's a threshold of like, if this person gets this many votes, they are automatic based on the total number of votes that came in. If they get this number of votes, they are automatically going to make it. If they get to that point and they automatically are going to make it, and then your vote comes along, it's like, well, they're already guaranteed a spot. So it's pointless for your vote to go there. So now it goes to your number 2. And so both those things apply. I think there's more to it than that, but that's essentially what it is.
This is trickle down economics that
Essentially,
Ronald
it's trickle-down
Reagan
voting.
spoke about
Right.
so many years ago.
Yeah, you're.
I do remember. Sorry.
No,
No, it's okay,
you
go
go ahead. You go ahead.
I do remember there being some like Reddit threads explaining like how I feel like it was like Sort a couple years ago, like how such and such made such and such a possibility as far as the ranking of the voting. I didn't understand it, admittedly, but
Well, Sort made it last time, not last year, but the CSM 14. He made it on that one because
Somebody
he
dipped out, maybe?
he got number 11 and he missed being in by like 20 something votes. There's like 25 votes is what he lost. But then eventually someone dropped out, and so halfway through or so, then he got on the CSM because someone pulled
Right.
out and left. And
I think
then
I might be
he was
like
the runner-up,
mixing up
so.
two different things because I remember somebody like analyzed the. I don't know if they release any of the voting data, probably not to that
They
extent,
do.
but somebody
They do.
analyzed
Yeah,
it and
they
they were
do,
like,
yeah.
well, so and so made it in because of such and such kind of thing.
Yeah, well, and the
And
cool
it was
thing
really
last
fascinating.
year,
Like I said, I didn't understand it.
There's
so that's
actually
probably what it was.
It's
there's
based on
actually
how people
videos
with their orders
of the
and-
whole thing happening.
Yeah,
You can
last
watch.
year-
I watched one this morning.
yeah, last. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
No, there's actual videos where they put up all the candidates, and the percentages go from one to the other through rounds, and you can watch them all get killed and only 10 people be left.
Like almost like a just
Like a big board.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
with the arrows going and the percentages
Okay.
going and all that, and yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was
That'd be
last
dope.
year's thing. And was it Aurora that was commenting on? There was a video that was with the. I don't remember if it was Aurora or someone else, but I think it was Aurora, and they were.
I think it
essentially-
was. She was drawing.
Yeah,
She was,
and
like,
it
doing
was
her MS
really
Paint
well
thing
done.
with
Like
the
it was,
CSM,
she
yeah.
was essentially saying like this many votes here, and it was like as the votes were coming in, and conversation. It was Aurora, and it was really well done. Like she was, it actually blew my mind because she was going with like, okay, this many votes went here, this many votes went here, and then enough votes went elsewhere. It's like, okay, now this person's out, and so this person had this many votes, and all the votes that were to them no longer matter. So now they all like started so that she'd show like where all the fluctuations of their votes ended up going to the other candidates, which then caused other influxes and then and it was like this crazy. And I know they did it last year. I don't know if CCP has ever done something like that in the past with the CSM voting. It almost was like some, March Madness, like watching the brackets get filled out type of thing. You're like, oh God. I was sitting there like, because I voted for Blazing Buddy. I was hoping he got on. And he was getting close. I'm like, yeah. People like, yeah, he's not going to make... Brisk was there. He's like, he's not going to make it. I'm like, dude, he's not out yet. Like, look at the votes.
Not with that attitude.
His numbers are going up. And I was sitting there getting all hyped. I was like, I've never been so fucking hyped and excited for votes. It was like fun to watch. I enjoyed it. I hope, and I'm pretty sure they will do it again this year.
Hold on. So, Convict just said something in chat, and maybe I'm inferring something. So Sudacon said, can CSM 16 make voting be in-game? And CCP Convict said, we haven't previously, but we definitely will this year.
It would cut down on all the
So
skill farm.
That's breaking news, man.
Does that mean you will be able to vote
cut down
for
a little.
CSM
No. I think there was a misunderstanding. He was talking about what I was saying. When I was saying I don't think they've done the voting like gameplay board before, but they did it this year, and he's like, we've never done it before, but we will again this year. So I think they're doing that again.
No, it's too late. We've already broken the story.
Apologize. Disregard.
Yeah, no, that's
my comments.
I'm spreading that everywhere.
Because I think there's merit to that, in that, like, the same way with like accepting your dailies or whatever, you don't quite have to log in. If you've got a skill farm or something, you just tick the boxes and you get your little SP and a drug or something.
Too late. It's already on Reddit.
If you want to vote 100 times because you've got a fucking skill farm or something, then like you're gonna have to load up every time or whatever. It's probably.
I would love to see CCP advertise the voting process 1,000% more than they have in the past.
They've done it in the launcher before.
I don't know if
they've ever done
that. So they need to send in-game
the
mails.
only
They need to send out mails to the counts. It's
maybe
important.
they've done it. I think maybe they've done it on billboards because Zenuria. I know Zenuria used to have his campaigns like vote Zenuria on the in-game billboards. He had that for like CSM 14 or 13.
No one zooms in on their ship. You think
anyone with automatic messages pop up and log in, remind you to vote.
But I don't know if CCP has ever advertised the CSM, like encouraged people to vote.
It's always it's on the launcher. I think that's
I know it's been on the launcher before, but actually in universe, I don't know if that's actually
in-game
ever been
mail
a thing.
should be a thing. They should be doing that. They also should be advertising just the candidate listing stuff a lot more too. That's information that people should know about.
They should be
the average person.
Eve
Look at the
game.
small number of people that watch these shows.
Put Eve trailers on the billboards.
I don't disagree, but I'm saying for the CSM,
I'm joking.
There's been no fucking advertising at all for any part of the process for anybody other than the people who watch these shows. That's a very small group.
You got to be tuned into the podcasts and the Twitter tweet fleet. Yeah,
and that's a small group really, and all these people.
That's true. Yeah.
So they need to take a heavy hand in getting the information out to people that, hey, go look at this. This is important. Make sure you vote. This is why it's
over
important.
People's heads.
Yes,
they
I
have
agree.
gotten better in the last couple of years with like putting out like in-game notifications, like
yeah,
pop-up,
they
just
actually
like
mentioned
like
it,
saying, "Hey,
like,
we're streaming right now."
Years ago, they wouldn't even talk about it.
Have they done that with the CSM?
I don't know yet, but I think they should because now we're talking.
They definitely should. Yeah.
Like, hey, voting's up.
Well, there's that new public calendar feature too, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, there's a lot. You're right. There's lots of mechanics in the game already that could make this happen easily.
I do appreciate that they've increased the notifications because once in a while it's like, hey, we're doing some X, Y, and Z with Streamfleet or whatever. Click on the thing and it's an in-game link or whatever. It pops up and I'm like, hey, I'm not up to much. Let's see what this is about.
It's just I would love to see the voting numbers increase.
Sure.
Exponentially.
Well,
that's really all the vote are the people, nullsec alliances. And people who watch the podcast or listen to podcasts, watch the shows. That's
people
it.
Like Ashtarathi or whoever who hangs out maybe or in high sec, but is also just great.
But I would say most of high sec players don't even know. I would say a good majority of them don't even know what the CSM is. Never
So-
heard
so-
of it.
I'd,
I have-
I'd say the vast majority of players don't know what the CSM is. Yeah.
That's
most-
sad.
most-
actually.
You think the
most-
vast
yeah,
majority?
it's on the launcher,
I
but I
think-
think most players they don't pay attention to the news on the launcher. There's like, where's the play button?
It
People,
is a
yeah,
bit
people just want to log in
politics.
and play. They don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
Alpha, what's up?
I'd say
How's it going,
it's
man?
at least
Haven't seen
half.
Alpha in a
I
while.
bet.
At least half. I would
At
agree with
least
that,
half.
yeah. And that's sad actually. So
It is
it's
sad.
we're looking at like what 10% of the people who do know about it votes. That's sad too. You know,
Is that what it translates to?
I don't know.
Well,
I'm making
I
that
don't
shit
know,
up.
but
Real quick, can we do a shot to CCP Aurora, who I think has been doing a very good job hitting the ground
I
running
think we
and
can.
Hell yeah. Oh, yeah.
getting as
definitely can,
integrated
yeah.
and as forward-facing as possible. Doing a great job, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I really like Aurora's been like ever since she came on.
Aurora.
She's been doing so many like let me explain this to you. She's
Very helpful.
she's like all the educative like for new players and vets too. I mean, there's been a bunch like when she did her whole I didn't get to see the whole stream, but I watched a bit of the stream where she was doing the bubble mechanics and things like that. And I learned some
was a
shit
good
that
one,
I
yeah.
thought I knew everything there was to know about bubbles. I'm a terrible
I did
Dictator
not see
pilot.
this. I probably need to
If
watch
you
it.
put
She
me...
she explained how drag bubbles work. It was pretty cool.
Well, I
And she did
understood
it all
drag
in
bubbles and
entertainment.
stop
Double
bubbles,
stop
but no, there was some, and I honestly forget the mechanics. But when I learned them, my mind was blown because I never knew you could do something like that, and I didn't know that that's how the actual in-game calculations worked. But it was really cool learning that stuff. But I'm a terrible Dictator pilot. Don't ever make me a Dictator pilot in your fleet. But yeah, just she does that stuff all the time where she's just like she'll do a stream or a
Never
video
do
and just say
that.
like this is how this game mechanic works for those that you need to know. And it's great. Shots for Aurora, why not?
Shots for Aurora. Can anybody CCP in the chat link that video? I'm not a great Dictator pilot.
I'd have to find it, but yeah, it was a
I would
really
say,
cool.
shots to all the CCP right now. I think they're
Hey,
stepping up. I'm
I
really
think they're doing a
fucking
very
very
good
happy.
job.
Yes,
Yep,
I'm very
yep.
happy with them right now.
Yeah, and when we got CCP
Industrials
Swift
are all
coming up
crybaby
soon.
and shit.
He's like
Oh,
they do good.
Swift is what he's gonna be.
I don't want to put them on that pedestal yet. That's a tall bar to reach. CCP Swift.
Yeah, I think CCP Swift. He's gonna be in Reykjavik in like a week or two, right? He because he got hired a few weeks ago. He announced it, and he said it was gonna be a few weeks till he gets there. Like he's kind of like still in his like new
Yeah.
hire.
That's a big
Anybody
shoes to
know anything
fill, and I
about this
think
guy?
he's
he's
Where
right
he
right
came
here.
from? What he's about?
I heard
We
he's
know,
like some.
we know nothing
I
about
know
it.
I know.
very little.
I heard he's like
Yes.
some
Very
PL
little.
guy that doesn't even know how to play the game.
I heard he used to
Yeah,
preach
definitely
about
one
monkey.
DMT and was not a fan.
That's what I heard. Yeah, that's actually confirmed. I think.
He might have been the reason it went away.
Right.
I'm
right.
not sure.
Off for that.
Maybe he's making a
So,
special hire
Let's
if you
spend some
know.
time.
Yeah, Conway's like he's already way cooler than any of us. It's like community developers hate him.
He ends up in the middle of nowhere in Iceland in the plateau region.
Probably not hard.
When was the last time you went to Pappy CT? I don't know. I haven't been to a
I can
Pappy
check
CT in a
pings
bit
if you
either.
need me
To be honest, I've been busy with work and like the last few weekends I have had shit going on. So I'm not gonna lie, I've been
Could you imagine-
super fucking slacking in this war over the last 3 weeks.
Can you
at
imagine
least.
Sir Squeebles and fucking Elsie in the same room?
But
That would be
it's-
fucking
Did
awesome.
they have to? Do the AT commentators have to room together?
Fair? Yeah, that's what he said.
I'm so
Is he
glad
trying to
I
get us
never.
to tattle?
I like.
don't
I know
think
people
so.
have.
God.
Some people have problems with Sir Squeebles. I like him. I think he's funny. I like his videos.
I was not on the sweet Keepstar kills. Yeah, I was not.
I
Yeah,
was on the
Keep,
defensive.
Keepstars have
of
been
Sweet
dying
Sheep
left
Shark
and
Kills.
right. I haven't
was
been on
the
any
kill
of
mill,
them.
but I was there. Or some of them, the ones we actually defended.
Am I high-powered C? Well, funny you mentioned that. I actually did get made vice president of the company that I work for.
Yes, he did.
Shots
With
to
decision-making
Drayden for
problem.
owning his own company.
Yeah.
now.
Only in
Hey.
Still not a
Hey.
dude.
Congratulations,
His
It
Jordan.
was,
account
it was only a
because
name
he's
to
big.
get around some workman's
Afraid
comp
to
thing, and
talk
then
to Dad.
it's funny. Yeah, it's for my dad's company, but the audit we got audited, and the auditor was
Oh,
basically
it's
telling my
yours-
dad like,
it's
yeah,
yours
it
and your
doesn't
dad's
work like
company.
that. You still have to pay workman's comp, so he still has to send in money now. So he made me vice president to get around workman's comp, and it didn't work. And so now I'm just vice president.
I stuck with you.
But you
yeah.
stumbled into an executive.
Yeah, I just stumbled
position.
into an executive position.
Can't fire me now. You got to vote me out.
But
That's what I
yeah.
Wait, hold on. Read
I am
Wayne's
the captain.
comment in the chat.
Funny story. For AT-15, The CCP dev who assigned rooms thought Jin was gay, so he had him and I rooming together.
That's
Hey,
the funniest
was
thing
it
I've ever
great?
fucking
Oh, that was before he started getting kind of swole, right?
Yeah, oh
That's
yeah. We've got
fantastic.
swole tan now. Swole
Swole
tan.
tan.
Would have been a pleasure.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
Jesus Christ.
Wow, that
Only
talk
room.
about
Shout out to Jin
assumptions.
Tan, who's
Like
insulting.
it's like we're gonna put. I mean, I highly
think he
doubt
did
Rain
Cypher.
gave
I
a
don't
shit
get
because
anything
Rain
from
and
my
Jin
friends.
Tan are good friends. Anyway,
No, Rain's cool. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
I-
doesn't matter
Rain's
to
the
her.
best.
but that is funny.
That is a really funny fucking
That's
story.
hysterical.
Of all the people it happened to, it rained. That's exactly that makes sense.
Rooming with
Oh,
the
Mud
blink. Yeah,
was
Jin
fun.
Tan's suit game, man. I haven't talked to Jin Tan in so long. Where did he go?
The last time I
He's-
saw him is when he
he's
passed out on
actually
his
Actually
ring
doing-
winning
twice.
life. and
He's
I'm not
doing some self-care.
feeling a
Yeah,
little attacked,
and he's
but I'm not going to talk about it.
he's rocking it.
Nice.
He's
Alright.
working on his body, working on his mind. He's doing a great
Yeah,
job, it sounds
if
like.
you want pictures of hot Jintan, just look at his
True
Twitter
story.
feed.
Oh,
and
shit.
he had a lot of weeb following, as far as I was aware. so
I'm not gay, but Jintan is
Check it out.
Jintan.
I mean,
Check
it's,
it out.
it's not gay. It's Jin.
It's
I
only
think
gay
he's
if you
young
like it.
and
so.
possibly available. So put in
You
them
know,
DMs.
it wouldn't matter. I'm just saying. Hold on, I gotta do because I don't have it on this thing. It's time for final shots and final thoughts. We're at the end
Are
of the
you
show.
shitting me? We're at time already?
We're at time.
We talked about Eve the entire time.
Freaking late.
Holy shit!
We talked about Eve the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much except
Well,
for
That's
Yeah,
a
that was
fucking
a
Back,
good
record.
the back
time.
part, yeah.
Well, well,
37% Mac.
It was Eve related at least the whole
yeah,
time.
I would say about 90% Eve related. It's a new record.
Fantastic.
We've never set this record on the show before. What are we doing with
No.
our lives?
That was
think it was pretty-
unbelievable. We talked about Eve for the entire
I think it
fucking
was pretty on
show.
point.
And it was entertaining. I think we're growing
Well-
up so fast.
Real
We're
quick, I do want to
growing up so
mention
fast.
we dipped into Manscaped twice though. So
Yeah,
it
we
was-
did
But it
double
did-
a little
it
bit
did-
sidetracking.
It was well,
But
it
they
was
weren't
only
20-minute
twice.
fucking rants. They
It was
weren't 20-minute
only
rants.
twice. The last few shows, that's like all we could talk about was Manscaped.
Yeah,
Those-
it's
those
like
shows
oh
talked
man,
about it for
folks
45
need
minutes.
to know how to trim.
I think I'm a
45
bad
minutes.
influence on you.
Oh, this was great. Okay, final shots.
all right,
final
final
shots.
shot. And now I have
Drayden, hit
to.
the
I
button.
was waiting to add this scene because I actually didn't have this thing on this.
No, you fucked
cam
it up
set.
last time. Is it gonna work?
It worked last time. What are you talking about?
No, it didn't. Did it?
Yes, it did.
It worked.
Okay, I
Come
was
on.
stoned. I don't remember.
Push the button, Drayden. Do
Oh,
it.
it's going.
Show my animation.
It's there. Boom. All right, final shots, final thoughts. Dom,
That's
you're up
fucking
first.
fantastic,
Animation.
Manic. You did great. You good man.
I'm very proud of that.
I would be too. That was fantastic.
Dom, you're up. What's
Oh,
your...
I'm first.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Dom's been pretty quiet this whole 2 hours. I gotta say.
I've
Yes.
been really, really fucking high. So I'm
Well, I
gonna
was
tell
gonna
you
say
right now.
we were comparing substance stories in the beginning, and
I was actually gonna.
And
I
then
was
we
actually
were
gonna. So
making
I'm gonna
sure we
shout
had
out. I
them
was gonna do some
nearby.
shrooms tonight, but I got really
Hey.
high and forgot.
Dom will be
Okay,
doing another
Dom.
stream
Final
together.
shots.
Final shots,
thoughts.
final thoughts.
Just gave them. So I was gonna do shrooms.
He's gonna
tonight,
do some shrooms later. All
but
right.
Okay.
I got
All right.
high and forgot.
Nice.
But now I still have shrooms.
I still have
Win.
shrooms, right?
All right.
a little late for it now,
Me.
though.
I will do final shots. Final shots. Ackroth, Ricks, thanks for coming on. Fun show.
Yeah, thanks
you
for having
guys. And Ricks,
Yeah, thanks, guys.
hell of a campaign you got going on. I know I'm gonna have you on my
Yeah,
ballot.
conduct.
I do want to throw. I'm not diminishing Rick's thing. I do want to throw a few shout outs to some of the other candidates that I do. I was looking through all the candidates today. I want to throw some out that are some nice heads up ones out there that I've seen. Jurius Doctor.
We're gonna promote
Great guy.
Ricks's opponents when he's on the. he's a
I wouldn't
guest
say
on the
that
show.
There's
I'd
10
do it,
candidates.
yeah.
I would call them his
How-
running
Gosh, Drayden.
mates. No,
A
I'm
lot of
saying
good people.
I'm putting
Poor
Ricks up.
Jurius is a
I'm
very
saying
nice
I'm
man.
putting Ricks up
Yeah,
there.
he's a good guy.
Jurius, I think if you're wanting someone that like his whole platform is based on new players, getting players knowledgeable about the game and enjoying the game, Jurius is up
Solid
there.
platform.
There's some other good ones.
I will be told
I'm
who
just
to
gonna
vote
throw
for. and I
Satonia,
will do them
Satonia,
both.
Mike Azariah. If Mike Azariah wins, this is the last time he'll be able to run. I would like.
Really?
Is
Is there term limits?
They added it a while ago.
Yeah, they
now
did.
Mike
That's
Azariah
right.
has
Bro.
been.
I think with CSM 15 they
Yeah, yeah.
instituted term limits.
Yeah,
But
they
Well,
added.
in a row.
I thought there was a with 1 year gap you can run
There's
again.
a
I
gap,
thought.
yeah.
We'll appeal.
Oh.
that.
Yeah. He can,
Okay,
he can
okay.
gap and then do it
So
again.
okay, so he has to
Doing
gap
great
it.
work.
But yeah, so they made it to where you can only do 2 in a row now, starting as of last year. So Mike won last year. He's on there at CSM right now. So if he makes it again, he has to skip a year. But
he's a fantastic representative.
So
for
Mike
High Sec.
Azaria is
I
a
love
good one,
Mike
and then
Azaria.
Mike's awesome. Yeah.
Satonia is another one I would recommend.
Nominate.
Solid.
Billy.
I don't think Nominate and Billy are running this year. Well,
They
if
are.
they are, they haven't put things up.
They haven't done it yet, but they are. Merkel Chen's running again.
Yeah. So those are like the 3. Brisk,
I'll throw
honestly,
out Brisk.
Brisk is a solid.
Brisk, all that's
candidate
Brisk
as well.
running
I was
again.
gonna say, I'll throw out Brisk.
I like
solid
see, I like Brisk and those guys who've done it multiple times now. I do enjoy them on there because I feel like they get stuff done and they most of them communicate what's going on as much as they can. Yeah, that's something I look for from CSM.
Sure.
Is communication
Well, that's
back to us. You know.
Yeah. So I honestly like Brisk is one. I know Brisk is like hit or miss on a lot of people's radar, but I honestly, in all honesty, I think Brisk is a solid CSM member. Does really well communicating with CCP and has. Despite what people will say, has a very unbiased outlook on the game. So,
I think
I would say those 4. Like honestly, like
block affiliation.
my top 4 is gonna probably be Rix, Brisk, Mike, and Jurius Doctor. Like those of all the ones that have put and Satonia. Okay, so top 5. Those are my top 5. I would say.
You're on my list too.
Yeah, those are solid picks.
Rix is a solid pick. Hate to say it.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Yeah.
Been around for a long time, done some great work.
I wasn't sitting there trying to say like vote for these guys over Rix. I'm just saying like I just given an overall, just like general, and they all represent different areas of the game. So,
right, but it's important to put me first.
Yeah,
for sure.
Put Risk number 1, and then those guys pass that.
Can we
That
wave the
crazy
Webby
math
around
thing
again?
is going to happen. I need it. Yeah.
Yeah. Give Risk give Rix the vote.
But he does have a Webby
Yes.
already. So I mean, that's
Right.
something.
Please raise it to the screen. We need to stand in awe of your almost Oscar. It's basically an Oscar.
It's an internet
It's
Oscar.
kind
It's
of-
exactly
We're all
what
on
it
the
is.
It's
internet
kind of
right
an
now. I'm
Oscar.
not watching a TV.
Fuck yeah, it's an
It's
internet
a
Oscar.
Webby.
That's exactly what it is.
It's like a Webby Oscar.
It's literally the
It's-
award of what we're doing right now.
Oh
Right,
yeah,
it's the award
Lothar.
for
Thanks
what
for
we're
the
doing
gifted.
right
Oh my
Damn,
god, Lothar
Lothar,
just gifted
Jesus
subs everywhere.
Christ.
Wow.
Oh,
Thanks,
shit.
Lothar, man. Man, Drake,
Oh, I got one. I've never gotten one before.
you can do the
Let me
pufferfish
thank him.
emote now.
Can I?
Oh yeah, do
What's
the
that all about?
thinking puff.
Thank you, dude. That's fantastic. Yeah.
It's just that in a nutshell.
Oof.
Oh,
I'll
I
leave that
haven't
one
seen.
to
Has
you.
Miss Elby been on tonight? I guess I haven't seen.
LB is deployed to
Miss
Latvia.
LB.
We got a
Miss
hype
Mrs.
train
LB,
incoming.
Mrs.
What the
LB.
fuck is happening?
shit.
What are you guys looking at?
I have limited time to earn exclusive emotes.
Yeah,
We got
Doctor.
a hype train.
Oh
What is
yeah,
this?
we got enough subs. We got the hype train going. Well, thanks, Lothar, and then Dr. Vikerns. Thanks for the sub with the Prime as well. All right, so I know that was a final shot, final thought, and it turned into a whole segment. I apologize, Manic. You're up next.
Oh shit. Shots to Oh
Shit,
God,
and
what's
you
the guy's
just
name?
How about what are you just doing? You just gifting subs while you're doing your
No.
thing?
Yeah, I just gifted some subs. Shots to Shock G, Digital Underground, the Humpty Hump. Shots to that guy. He passed away.
That's fair.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
earlier
shout to
today
him for sure.
at
I did not hear
57.
about
Dance is the Humpty Hump.
Wow.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
Humpty Hump.
We should probably play that
Shots
on the way out.
to Shock G.
He was fantastic in Nothing But Trouble too. I fucking love him.
yeah. As far as Eve stuff goes, pay attention to the CSM, guys. Like it does matter. Like I know the CSM is a popularity contest. That's like the meme.
There's less collusion than you think.
Yeah,
pretty sure.
I mean
But
these
aren't
are
all elections
people. These are
popularity
people
contests?
who genuinely care about the game at large.
Actual champions.
I
for
know
our
I know
causes.
it's easy to say that the candidates that get in, it's all people from null blocks, but these are
Many of
people
them
who
maybe.
really give a shit. So research all of the candidates and pick the ones who you feel represent you, not your alliance. If your alliance leaders tell you to vote a certain way, tell them to fuck off.
That's what I do.
Tell them
Yeah,
to
I don't
you don't
tell
have
them
to
that.
do it
I
right
just
that way.
off.
Yeah.
Because
you
because
can,
this is your game as much as it is theirs. So vote for the people who represent you.
vote your way. That's what I
Listen
would say.
to your heart.
There's nothing else you
Listen
can
to
do.
your heart.
When it's calling
I know
to
that Drayton
you.
said that if we
Sorry,
get to
sorry.
hype train level 5,
No,
that he would
Akaroth,
strip
keep
for us
going,
in
keep
Vegas.
going.
So, there you go.
Don't drop it.
Oh, in Vegas. Okay, I'll prep for that.
Vegas, yeah.
Rayo, thanks for the bits. All right, Akaroth, you're up next.
Oh shit! Thoughts and shots.
It could be anything. You could just like listen to
I was
your
gonna say,
heart if you want, or
I didn't put any thought in this. I wasn't paying attention.
you can just like give a shout out to the puffer fish if you want.
Well, again, shout out. I really appreciate what Aurora has shown. I appreciate a handful of the what CSM has shown, because I've been in this game for way too many years, and I've had various thoughts that a lot of people echo and mirror on Reddit and various salty, minds. But at the end of the day, I've spoken with a handful of them over the years, and it is obvious that no matter where you're actually flying from or whose flag you're waving, there's a lot of people who are very passionate about what we all sit here and bullshit about. And I think that, I don't know, they're very good champions for the cause, and I do hope that at least people give them a chance and put a vote in.
Hell yeah. And also, like, even more from Lothar and Don, like, guys, the gifted, and then Redline now. The gifted, it's a gifted emote. I think everyone in the chat now is subbed to this channel at this point. I don't think there's any more random people that aren't fucking
Fantastic, yeah.
subbed to
I can make a pufferfish noise now.
like
what does this mean?
Puffers unite, I guess. Like, thanks guys
I've
for
never
the
subbed
subs.
anything.
Like, I mean, damn, hot damn.
Yeah.
All right, Rix, you're up next.
Shout out to new players who are flying ships they can't really fly. So we talked about skill injectors and stuff, but I tell you what, there's nothing funnier than finding out that Hyperion has missiles, lasers, and railguns on it, and it explodes. That's just awesome, and I hope that never stops, because you can say all you want about all the great solo pilots and all the things, but there's something about mixed guns on a battleship and probably probably shield armor and hull tanking. It's just fantastic. And what would Eve be without meme kills like that? So keep trying hard. Spend your mom and dad's MasterCard and Visa money on skill injectors, and just get out there and show them what you got. Be prepared for anything. That's what we like to say and Stay Frosty. Never know. You might have to shoot somebody from 75 yards, but also 3,000 meters. So you gotta have that beam laser and that blaster. Shout out to you.
Hell yeah. All right, well, that
Just real quick
goes.
to
God,
any-
even more gifted. Like it's just a gift central here. Like Convicts gifting the other CCP devs some subs. Rain subbed up. Thank you. Jesus Christ, guys.
Just a bit of
this is
advice.
how we're getting Drayden to Vegas.
No, I'm already
Right,
going to Vegas. No, I am.
That's right.
I am lucky
You're
enough that
dipping in.
Vlad
You're dipping
is.
in, man. It's
Vlad-
fine.
He's
no,
a
no.
corporate
It's the
figurehead now,
Manscaped.
though.
Vlad is letting me
It's the
stay with
Manscaped
him, so
sponsorship.
Vlad's gonna let me room with him in
Vegas
Vegas.
needs to
So
know how
I'll
to
be at the
clean up.
Golden Nugget, and then I have flight vouchers because during the COVID thing, I canceled my NOLA flights, so I have flight covered. So I guess I just have to do food and drink, and that I can do. So I'll be in Vegas. I'll be in Vegas this year. So I guess I should have done a fucking. I'll do it. There's plenty of time. I'll do it next week. Definitely a big
So
thanks to Vlad.
who
for-
here is
for
all going to be at
grooming me.
Vegas this year?
I'm gonna try.
I
For the
am.
first time
I'll be
ever.
there.
Not
Yeah.
100% yet, but probably.
Okay, cool.
Bought a house this year, and I'm gonna try to make that also financially possible. But we're gonna see.
Baller.
Nice.
Rain with the gifted subs. Hot
Yeah.
damn.
Hey, I just want to real quick say, because we were talking about the new bros and mixed things. If you're gonna fly anything with lasers, your best effectiveness is if you put a different color in each slot. That's actually
Oh,
how they set
absolutely,
each
yeah.
other off. And
I
it's a
heard that. Yeah, I
multiplier.
heard that the rainbow fire
So,
is actually.
Make sure your graphics are turned
Oh,
up. but
Miss
just do one of each
Marisha.
color, and you're gonna do really well.
Miss
It's called the
Marisha.
Rainbow
Okay, so
Connection. It's, very
so
important.
so real quick, Miss Marisha just rated with 68. We're at the end of the show, but you guys don't have to go anywhere.
we have an after-
please,
we have an
please,
after
God,
show.
don't leave
Yeah.
us.
Akira,
No,
We're on a
we're
roll.
coming right back for an after show. We're just cutting this stream for like
Sit
30 seconds
tight.
just to
Sit
make an
tight.
easy cut point for the podcast.
Just chill for a few
Yeah,
seconds.
so
we'll
just
be
chill.
right
The
back.
stream will go offline. We'll be right back for an after show. So thanks for
can't-
the raid. And
I don't go
let's go.
anywhere. I sit there and talk the whole time, but you guys don't hear me.
Really?
no, yeah,
You
we
were
don't-
on
No,
mute the
usually
whole
not.
time, Don.
Yeah, nobody heard you.
Yeah,
No, usually not.
thanks,
I
Miss
don't usually say
Marisha. So yeah, you guys, we'll be right back. And peace out. See you in a few minutes.
Fuck
Later,
you.
bitches.
Crazy.